Blog Talk Radio.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. We have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
George Bush has invoked a new world order without enunciating a new American purpose.
Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use.
President recognizes Mr. Adams of Massachusetts.
Objects of the most stupendous magnitude. Measures which will affect the lives of millions, born and unborn, are now before us. And we must expect a great expense of blood to obtain them. But we must always remember that a free constitution of civil government cannot be purchased at too dear a rate, as there is nothing on this side of Jerusalem of greater importance to mankind. My worthy colleague from Pennsylvania has spoken with great ingenuity and eloquence. He has given you a grim prognostication of our national future, but where he foresees apocalypse, I see hope. I see a new nation ready to take its place in the world. Not an empire, but a republic. And a republic of laws, not men. Gentlemen, we are in the very midst of revolution. The most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of the world. How few of the human race have ever had an opportunity of choosing a system of government for themselves and their children. I am not without apprehensions, gentlemen. But the end we have in sight is more than worth all the means. I believe, sirs, that the hour has come. My judgment approves this measure, and my whole heart is in it. All that I have, all that I am, and all that I hope in this life, I am now ready to stake upon it. While I live, let me have a country. A free country.
Okay, everybody, Joseph Gibson broadcasting live from Greensboro, North Carolina. Very important there, the introductions there, as you understand how much our country has changed. And we discussed on the last show capitalism versus socialism. But before I open up here tonight with the platform and the program, I did invite the mayor from Imperial Beach, San Diego, California, come on to the program. And when I spoke to him last week, the mayor's office, they actually agreed to come on to the program and then backtracked it and decided not to come on to the program once they found out I was not a part of the corporation or the corporate media. Okay? And let's see here. I'll get to that email response here. They did respond to me. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up that email. The mayor's office did respond to me. I'm trying to find that email. I want to read it to everybody just to make sure. But the subject matter was going to be there so loudly speaking about to the corporate media, but won't talk to a worldwide platform like me. And this is the response that I did get from the mayor's office. Once again, thank you for inviting Mayor Dedina to participate at your live radio interview on March 3rd. As previously advised, the mayor is not available on March 3rd. We appreciate your offering also for March 7th at 4 p.m. Pacific time as an alternative option for this participation. Unfortunately, the mayor is not available to a previous commitment. And, of course, I sent back an email. Well, when will the mayor be available to answer and talk to the people? To talk to the people. We, the people. When will our supposed elected corporation officials talk to the people? No, but they'll go on Fox fake news. They'll go on CNN fake news for 15 seconds, and give a 30-second clip, and then get cut off. We got to go to a commercial. We're running out of time, or we'll spend 10 minutes on Jesse Smollett in Chicago and the MAGA hat, and this is what I'm talking about, folks. Is this is a worldwide platform for all of you out there. And all you got to do is press the number 1, and I give you a voice, and the shows are archived. And I don't edit anyone. I don't censor anyone. But I just read to you a response that I got from Mayor Dedina from Imperial Beach, San Diego, California, and I was contacted by several people, including Dr. Peter Ventura, that I should invite the mayor onto my program to talk about these very issues, the pollution that's coming up from Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico, and actually making people sick with bronchitis and other viruses and this pollution issue and how he would handle it. I wanted to discuss that with him. But I'm not going to bash the mayor right now. He has previous commitments, so we'll see if he responds to me in the future to come on to this program. Otherwise, I will contact the people that ran against the mayor, and I'll give them a voice, or I'll contact the town council of San Diego, California, Imperial Beach, and we'll get them onto the program and ask the same questions of what the heck is going on out there. Because the mayor is supposed to be representing the people of his community, and I had many people from California who emailed me and who are listeners to this program that suggested that I give him this platform. Okay, and I read you the email. And I'm going to take callers here in about 2 minutes. I'm going to go down the line. Everybody's going to get a voice. All you have to do is press one time on this show. You don't have to press it twice because you get hung up on by accident. And I know I've got callers on the phone line here who want to speak, and the show is, of course, about you, because without you, there is no show. And I invite people to join in the chat room. And you can talk about anything you really want to talk about. But I want to warn people, though, from previous shows, we can't talk over each other. And, you know, all that cussing and slanderous words that some people use, you know, or foul language, we just can't tolerate that on this program. I'll mute you very quickly if that happens, okay? But I want to give everyone a voice to talk about the real issues. And one of the real issues that we're going to talk about in the future is I'm going to invite Dr. Vince Massa from Stamford, Connecticut onto the program, and Dr. Peter Ventura. And I want to say congratulations to Dr. Peter Ventura for earning his second PhD in philosophy. That was his second PhD he earned. A man who grew up on the streets of Waterbury, Connecticut during the 1970s, worked for the mafia, went to prison for a long period of time, came out of prison, and didn't point fingers at anybody and said, you owe me this, you owe me that, and did his time like a man, and got out and educated himself and started a church out in California. And has earned 2 PhDs, okay? And he's also married to Marilyn Ventura, who was the first female state commander for the VFW in the history of this country. So hats off to her, and she works with many veterans that went off to fight in these foreign wars, unconstitutional wars. And I don't blame the veterans. They were just doing what they were told to do. I mean, we can get into biblical issues if you want, and they thought they were doing the right thing. And before I open up the phone lines here, now we're getting involved with Venezuela. Should we send military troops to Venezuela? No. I just played you an intro with John Adams. We are not a democracy. When someone you see on your fake flat screen TV who's programming you, telling you we have a democratic system and a democracy, no. We were founded as a republic, not a democracy. Okay? And a republic is much different than a democracy. A democracy is 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. How can the minority ever receive rights in a democracy? And I'm not talking, and as soon as I say the word minority, people are talking automatically black, white, this and that. No, the minority. Like if you were standing in a jury box, you have 12 jurors, one says not guilty, it's not guilty, you go free. You have to convince everybody, okay, beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's what we were founded upon, a republic, not a democracy. And as far as this issue of socialism now, with these wackos like Bernie Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez, these whack jobs. Now, look, I agree with Ocasio-Cortez there on Amazon, bashing Amazon for what they do. I've had problems with Amazon. I've exposed that on my radio program. We called them. When you call Amazon, you talk to somebody in India or the Philippines, you can barely understand, and I can understand people who hate capitalism. I think Mendelcon brought that up, capitalism through imperialism. The problem is we have these corporations that grow out of control and the politicians are in the pockets of these corporations, and I can understand why people get angry. And Amazon, 25,000 jobs, there's 50,000, 150,000 jobs, 2 million jobs, whatever it is. Amazon is a criminal company. It's a criminal corporation, and they stole $64,000 in intellectual royalties and properties from my small publishing company that my family fought for and worked for and put hours and hours of blood, sweat, and tears into, and they stole it, and then they sold it to other people and stole $64,000 in royalties, and then shut our accounts down, and when you email them, you get a robot response back. So, look, we've been over this before. We go back to, I think it was December 13th, where I called Amazon live on this program. And I know many people out there have problems with Amazon. You know, we need our package yesterday and this and that. And that's why people are going to continue to shop at Amazon. And Amazon's going to keep eating you alive like a lemming, Okay? You're going to go over the cliff like a lemming. Support the small business owners. Capitalism. Support the small business people. And when those small business people become billionaires, hold them accountable. That's the easy answer. But the problem is you can't do that because we're in a corporation. We're not under a republic. And then I also invited people on the program here to talk about history and the Confederate flag. You know, this is the problem. People do not understand true history. They don't understand the Confederate flag. They don't get it. They think that the North and South, they were fighting over slavery. Do you really think the North and the South were fighting over slavery? That was the main issue of the Civil War. Then you have been hoodwinked and you're an idiot. Go back to sleep. Your government's in control. Because that's not what the Civil War was fought over or about, and we've gone over those topics many times. However, if people want to bring that subject back up to the table, I'll open up the phone lines. That's fine, they can. But again, to readdress the situation here, I did invite. I'm inviting local leaders. Someone gave me advice to, start locally first, and I invited a local leader from a community from many listeners out in the West Coast, and they declined at this point. Okay. And I've got a local leader here in Summerfield, North Carolina, who I may be bringing on the program. I'm not going to mention his name right now, but he may want to come on this program. And we spoke for an hour on the telephone. He's a councilman here in Summerfield, and that would be an interesting subject. And he actually agrees with me a lot of what's happening here, and especially with this socialist idea that we should be socialists and the government's going to provide everything for you and whatnot. The government doesn't have any money. The Federal Reserve provides the money. Go to the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. The Federal Reserve provides the government with the money. And before I get to my first caller here, I want to just give me a minute here to explain this in simplistic terms as I can. Okay? Your tax dollars are paid to the Federal Reserve. It goes to the Federal Reserve. All right? And what happens is the Treasury of the United States federal government says we need $1.2 trillion to operate. They go to the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve then writes them out a check, and then the Treasury Department deposits it in their bank, and then they spread it out throughout the states. Like, for instance, in North Carolina, we have, a $56 billion budget here that we're supposed to be operating on. All right? Now, if you do the math, and you understand that all 50 states, if we are operating under a $1.2 trillion budget, if you do the math with all the 50 states, then how the hell are we sending $45 billion to Afghanistan to build gas stations and hotels? And now we're talking about going to Venezuela. And we went over this many times before. Aaron Russo, who died of cancer, he talked about this. He talked before 9/11 happened when he was a friend with one of the Rockefellers. I played that clip many times. I'm not going to play it again. They're going after Chavez. That's what he said. Well, Chavez died, and now they got this other dictator down there in Venezuela, which that we do not have any type of interest whatsoever other than the oil in Venezuela. All right, there are dictators in Africa killing their people by the thousands, tens of thousands every day. Why are we not interested in that? China, you have a ruthless dictator there that's in for life that puts his own people in prison camps. Why aren't we sending our military there? We have North Korea, a dictator that's killed our own citizens. Been all over the news, your fake news. Why aren't we sending our military there? What's going on here? Does anyone understand what's going on? All right, Venezuela, enriched in oil. The best, second to Saudi Arabia. Okay, third to Iran and Iraq. All right, for oil. That's why we're going to get in, and I exposed it on my last show. YesWeekly.com printed an article, page 19. I got the article sitting here. I'm not going to take 10 minutes to read it to you, but go look it up. CIA caught smuggling guns and military equipment from Greensboro, North Carolina, to Miami, to Venezuela, and the dictator seized the plane and the contents of the plane. Okay? And rightfully so, because they're already arming all the people in Venezuela. There's all these factions, and we're going to send all our military there again so we can have 10,000 people with post-traumatic stress disorder and support our troops. They're fighting for democracy. That's what we're going to do again. That's what it's looking like. Because tomorrow morning, the guy who says he's president, which I still don't know how he was elected, but I haven't done too much research on that. Maybe some of you can educate me. But the guy who says he's president and the other guy who says he's president, the guy who says he's president is in Brazil. He's traveling all around. And he's going to be going back to Venezuela, and supposedly he's going to be arrested. And we got this idiot, John Bolton, who is a warmonger, okay, who wants World War III, thinks that America should be an empire, not a republic, and should be involved in everybody's affairs around the world, which we should not be. The Constitution does not give us the authority to be involved in foreign wars. Friends with all, alliances with none. That's what George Washington said, and I played you John Adams in the beginning if you missed it. Give me a republic, not an empire. We don't need an empire. This country has no business. What's going on? That's up to Venezuela. Look, if they gave up their rights to bear arms, if they can only throw rocks at tanks and soldiers with machine guns, that's their fault. They need to handle their own problems down there. It's not our problem. And the Constitution, if we were under the Constitution, does not give us the authority. But since we're a corporation and we're a district of criminals and we're building an empire around the world to form a new world order, like I played in the beginning, like George Bush said, we will be successful. When we are successful, and we will be. That's what George Bush said. George Bush Sr., another criminal. But anyway, all right, I've been rambling on here. I want to get to the first caller. Everyone, you press number 1 if you want to join in tonight, and we'll go down the line here. Everyone will get equal amount of time to talk. So first caller, obviously, is from Connecticut. Go ahead, Connecticut.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Congratulations to the Venturas for their accomplishments. I'm sure it's taken quite some time to get to where they are. But congratulations again. I want to talk about eBay tonight. But first, let me talk. I was speaking to someone yesterday or the day before, and they were all with their panties in a jam because they're really upset that their tax dollars are going to fund these immigrants that are here. And they're tired of being screwed, they said. So I said, if you think you're being screwed that way, and I went over the banking process for when they go in the bank and they apply for a mortgage, which actually they give the bank a mortgage, and then they're given the check and what transpires and what happens and where the money comes from and where the money goes and whose money it is. And I got a blank look on the face, like, this guy is nuts. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And then I went on to say, if you really want to know how you're getting screwed, look at your birth certificate. Yeah, it has your mother's name and your father's name on it. Yeah, right. Well, it should. It should. But why would it have your father's occupation on your birth certificate? What does that have to do with your birth? No answer, because they just can't figure it out. But we all know, or maybe we all don't know, but there's a valid reason for that. But anyway, let's talk about eBay and Amazon and what greed they have. I've been selling a lot online. I've been selling a lot online before there was an online. I've been doing this before many of you could even type as how is eBay the same league as Amazon. Here's another one. He's a Mr. Know-It-All. And in any event, I just come and found out recently that eBay charges sales tax on the seller's behalf. But eBay doesn't sell anything. So how can they be charging sales tax on something that they're not selling? And as you go through the checkout process, it says, but don't worry, to the seller now. Don't worry. You won't be responsible for these taxes. Click here to learn more. So you click there to learn more, and it says, you as the seller are responsible for all taxes. Well, I've decided not to sell on eBay anymore because I'm not getting caught up in that twisted, cumbersome world of taxes. You know, when you do your taxes and you work for a living, you get your W-4s at the end of the year. You know you've made X amount of dollars. You know you paid X amount of taxes. You fill out your taxes, which you keep a copy of, and you send it in. And if there's a discrepancy, the IRS contacts you and you work it out. Now we're getting into the twisted world of eBay and PayPal where you can't get an answer from anybody, and it's going to go back to your state government, and your bank accounts are going to get liened. Your cars are going to get repossessed. You're going to have liens put on your houses, and you will not get an answer from anybody. No way, no how, not ever. So I've decided not to sell on eBay anymore. And I'll let someone else ramble on from this point on.
Well, I don't think you should give up from that. I don't think eBay can come after you for the state taxes, but they've been doing that for years. Every state's been implementing it. Actually, you should just charge it. The state that you're in, just charge an extra percentage and say I have to charge a sales tax in case you're notified by the IRS, at the end of the year. But this is the twisted nonsense that the corporation does.
Wait a minute. Yeah, but wait a minute. I don't know about what state you're in or anybody else, but in Connecticut, in order to charge sales tax, you have to pay a fee for a permit. You have to file quarterly returns, and if you're wrong or you don't, you get fined. Is that what I want to get into?
Well, like you said, do your sales privately without anybody knowing.
I'm not going to do it without anybody knowing. But I will not sell on eBay anymore. And I've put that on everything that I have on eBay. That if the sales tax comes up for your state, that I'm going to refund your purchase because I've refused to deal with it because I'm not going to put myself in jeopardy for the. They'll come like you said. They'll take you away with guns for 99 cents. I'm not going that route.
Well, that's right. They will SWAT team you. They will kill your dog, kill your children, and that's what they will do because they have the Federal Reserve Bank, and they have tens of thousands of IRS workers out there who work for the Federal Reserve, and they'll kill you. And I played clips about that. You can hide in the Amazon jungle, and they will find you. It doesn't matter. They got satellites in the sky. They are listening to us right now, watching me, and they could probably blow my head off right now just talking on this microphone. They got the power. But we'll go to another caller here. Let's go to another caller down the line here. We'll go to 251 and move down the line. I saw a bunch of other people. If you can't wait patiently, then too bad for you. But you can bring up any subject you want to talk about here tonight on Sunday night. It's an open mic night, and everyone has a right to speak here, and I give everyone that right. So I'll go to 251 first. Go ahead, and then private caller, and then of course I think my friend Mandela Khan's on. He's going to want to talk here, but we'll see what happens with that. Go ahead, 251.
Greetings, Joe. It's Akshita Veda, as you would say, Arsha Veda, and that's all good. I'm not mad at you about that, and I don't care if anybody has a problem that you call me Arsha Veda. It's Akshita Veda. How are you?
It's my accent. That's
I know.
all. My northern accent.
It's okay. I never gave you a problem, but I listened to the previous week Sunday's call that I missed. And I caught that, and I responded to it on your page. But Joe, I still love you, right?
Yeah,
so,
we don't always have to agree on everything, But the point of it is that there's one thing that we need to focus on, and that's the fact that these criminals that are controlling us, like the last caller, who's trying to run his own business from his home. These criminals they control us. This criminal corporation, and I played it in the beginning of the program. We're not a republic anymore. We're a democracy, a democratic form of a corporation, and an empire. And that's not what this country was founded on. And to not to cut you off, but I want you to continue. But we need to focus on what's most important to all of us as human beings. Look, we have to have a bartering system. We have to have an honest bartering system, and we need to end the Federal Reserve first, the Federal Reserve banking cartel. Who owns the Federal Reserve? Does anybody know who are the major stockholders? They're a secret entity. They're not even federal. Why do they call them the Federal Reserve? They're no more federal than FedEx. You understand what I'm saying?
If the funding is coming from specific people who remain private, unknown to the public, then that means that money is coming from these people, which is coming from the people, which funds the federal government, which is a corporation and organization. So just like I was to form my own business and call it the Federal Reserve System, and my business just happens to dominate and take over, and everybody is now paying me to do something, then now I become the law of the land. And this is what the Federal Reserve has done.
You're absolutely right. Give me actually Nathan Rothschild. Actually, if you look it up, said, "Give me control of a nation's currency, and I care not who writes the laws." That's what he said, because they don't have to follow the law. You know.
Absolutely, because they are the ones who are funding the people to do the laws. This is the lobbying. This is where lobbying begins. You know, the people who are behind the scene who pay money for their agenda to be pushed by those who are in the front line or known. Voices will be recognized and faces known when they do show up and their voices are heard. So, you know, they're the biggest lobbyists that there are, yet they put out all these different policies about anti-lobbying, yet the biggest lobbyists are the ones who are funding all of this stuff that's going on. They're playing Monopoly.
That's right.
And so we're just the pieces on the board. And so, you know, we just hope that we can get a break along the way. So, you know, you said no empires. I said, you know, when we do establish our own governing system, this is establishing our own empire. And this is exactly what the Federal Reserve did, what the Rothschilds did, what the rest of them did. They established their empire, and their empire has dominated. So why should not another empire rise and then therefore dominate? They're not the only ones that can do it, just they're beating the people at the people's game. So when the people stand up and stand together in unity and then beat this small group of people at the game that they learned from the people, come on. Then I saw a depiction on someone posted this. It was a group of men, pale men, and there was a group of dark-skinned people under the table, and the pale people were all above the table enjoying life, while the people bent down upon their backs was the table that the pale people were enjoying life. So only if the people under the table stand up, if only they stand up, you knock everything out of place and you knock everything down, and then you begin to set up your own table. That's the empire. So I don't see anything wrong with an empire.
Well, as long as the empire is for the people, and well, as long as the empire is for the people and by the people, you know, and that was what the republic was supposed to be about. For the people, by the people, and you know, and people say, in 1776 there was slavery and blah 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 and this and that, and we get, and then they distract you from the real truth. You know, they wrote that document, the founding fathers, because they knew one day that all men are created equal, and that all men are endowed by their Creator to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All men and women. You know, at that time they put men. If they would have put women, they would have been hanged probably in the streets. And if they would have said, let's free the slaves, they would have been hung or shot in the head like Abraham Lincoln was, you know. But and like I said about the Civil War, you know, that was the Rothschilds doing, you know, because they wanted to incorporate the South to the North, the bankers. The northern bankers that controlled everything. And then, you know, of course, slavery was an issue towards the end because Abraham Lincoln, you know, if you read up on Abraham Lincoln and you understand, you know, he dealt with a lot of black people, a lot of black women actually, and said, look, I don't know your people. I don't know you, because one black woman asked him, if you read his paperwork, you know, what do you think about me? He said, I don't know you and I don't know your people, but you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness just like any other individual or human being in this country. And that's
well,
the point.
when you know the truth, Joe, when you know the truth, you have to let the truth be known. But the point of the matter is to write all on top of the truth, so the truth is no longer easy to find anymore. So they added to the original Constitution. So we don't even study the Constitution. We study the Bill of Rights. We study the amendments. And we stay stuck on 13, 14, and 15, which are the ones that put us in that slave mentality, that make us
the fourth,
think and believe
you
that.
just touched on a very important right there, and I had people on who are part of the Restore America plan and the Republic. The 14th Amendment enslaved us all, white, black, Chinese, Japanese, Jewish. The 14th Amendment enslaved us all. And people don't get that, and they don't understand that, and they don't study it. They're too busy listening to, we are a democracy. A democracy.
Right.
Come on, man. A democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. If the majority always rules, if the majority always rules, then how can the minority? And again, it's not about, when you hear that word minority, everyone thinks he's talking about black people. No, I'm talking about the minority of people out there, who think
men are the minority. Men are the minority if we really want to take a look at it. And one of the callers on the previous call tried to get into a debate about whether it was men or women based on a census, but you can't even trust the census because you can't trust the population from which that census was gathered. So if you're talking about worldwide, women are the majority, and those men that stand with the women and children make that party the super majority. So if we're running off of that mindset, then we'll know that women really are the ones who are supposed to be in power, not men. And that's why we're all twisted and crossed up and backwards now, because everything is wrong. Wrong. Men are wrong for as far as being in positions of giving order, because we see that no order comes from a man. Only chaos and destruction comes from a man. And this is what a lot of women go through today. And let me just say this real quick. I'm going to speak on domestic violence for a moment, because, see, this has a lot to do with the mind frame and where we are today, because, see, women don't know who we are first of all, because a lot of everything that's going on right now is orchestrated by a man, not a woman. And women are falling subject to men, and that is wrong. Women, y'all need to stand up and stop letting these men put their hands on you. Stop letting men talk to you the way that they think they can do. Forget all that. If us women just stop being ugly to one another and then become a supportive system for each other, then we can stand up and then we may be able to rise. But until then, unless these women get from under the foot of a man, we are going nowhere. And that's all I got to say. I can't talk no more. Go ahead, Joe.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Go ahead. You can comment, and then I got a bunch of other callers here. But go ahead.
Well, I think she's absolutely right. And if women would put their vanity aside, they'd kick ass. But the vanity is society that puts the vanity of women. I mean, when you're standing in a grocery store line, what do you see? Women standing there half naked on a magazine cover, right? Well,
you know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah, and look, and
these magazines are all edited and mostly produced, and the suggestions come from a man's mind, because this is where the money is coming from. The money, the men are the money makers. So when you want to put something on the shelf that's going to get the money, you're going to put what's going to attract the mind of a man. So women are falling victim to everything a man wants to see and everything a man wants to do. Women have no voice. Women are the simple things in life are life, happiness, and life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. You can't get to all of that or any of that when you're enslaved within your own mind, let alone a government that enslaves us as a people. And then we fit into this genderism, which is wrong, sexism, ageism, racism, all these different isms that creep into our lives and take over where we can't even think the way we're supposed to be thinking, so we can get together, so we can build empires, so we can put money together. The governing system that you speak of, Joe, is the same. The empires run the same way the government would run, only it would be for the people, by the people, and it wouldn't be for people under selfish motives. Selfish agenda.
Well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. You're right.
It's for the safety and security of women and children, and the men need to stand the fuck up. Excuse my language, Joe, but that's the truth of the matter. Keep your hands to your goddamn self and protect these women and protect these damn children out here. It's too many women and children that don't have nobody and nowhere to go.
Well, that's absolutely you're absolutely correct. Well, you're absolutely correct about men not taking their responsibilities correctly as a man, but
yes.
But that man versus woman is a very interesting topic that maybe we can bring on. And bring some people on who studied this topic. That would be a good show to do, man versus woman, and see where we are, because the show is called Understanding the Times We Live in Today.
Man versus woman. It's not even about man versus woman.
Well, like you just said, like you just brought up what men's role are in society.
I get that part, Joe. We can have that conversation all day long. We can have that conversation all day long. But the thing about it is, the blueprint ain't been put out there yet. So people don't even know where to look anymore.
They should really look. They should really look. We can get into a big discussion about man. It's not, like I said, it's not
even
man versus
that. It's
women.
about people. The people
coming
together. And it's about people getting out of their own
But you have to agree with me, though.
Frame.
You said gender. But you brought up the thing gender. There's only man and woman. There's no I'm a dog and I'm a tree and I want to be a tree today, or I'm a man and I want to be a woman, and that's another problem with our society today. A lot of men don't know where they stand anymore because of this corporation that brainwashes them that, men should not take care of women or be it's just, that's a very serious subject, and that's something I'm going to analyze and bring to the table.
Because there's a lot of, let me say this too, and all men aren't bad. Don't get me wrong when I'm saying this. I just want women to stand up and stop, having an agenda against one another, and most times it's a man in between them two women. So the point of the matter is, men, I forgot what my point was going to be, but anyway, go ahead, Joe.
Well, let me get to some more callers. I'll bring you back on. I mean, I won't hang up on you. You know that. I won't do that. But I got a bunch of callers on the line. I want to give everyone some time here to talk here, and you can bring up whatever you want to talk about. So let's go. I said private caller, then Mendelicon, then 317-978. I see you, 949. Everyone will get a chance. You just got to be patient. But be respectful for everyone else's time. Go ahead. Let's see who the private caller is. Go ahead, private caller.
Hey, Mr. Joseph Gibson. This is Willie from Des Moines. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. What's on your mind tonight? It's open mic night, so you can have a few minutes to talk about whatever you want to talk about. So go ahead.
Well, Mr. Joseph Gibson, I'd like to say, how I appreciate your show. And just the topic you were just speaking on, you're talking about, I ain't going to be a tree today. I'm going to be a woman today. I'm going to tell you straight up, this be Willie from Des Moines. I'm a man. I ain't like Mandelicon. He want to call him pretend like he a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that thing really exists. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the truth. That ain't truth. There's only a man and a woman. That's the only two things they can do.
I do agree with you there. There's but society today is so screwed up and immoral in the head Like, for instance, I was watching a story about these LBGTQ, PQTT, whatever they call themselves today. My great-grandmother used to call them morphidites. But anyway, these morphidites there, I'm going to dedicate that to her, actually. These men who want to be women are participating in sports in the state of Connecticut. I'm in North Carolina, but I was watching a news story, and these men are beating the women, and the women are saying, these are men in a track contest. And we all know, look, we're all equal, but we're not equally the same as in a physical sense. Just like that men are like a old Baptist preacher told me. If we're all equal, let's put the women on one side of the room and put the men on the other, and let's have a fight and see who wins. But should we be treated equally? Yes. All right. But when you have men competing in a track contest against women, these morphidites are winning, and they're taking away scholarships from these women who are trying to, do a track competition in a woman's sport, which is they have women's track, they have men's track, and just like you just said, there's women and there's men. So let the women compete, but we have this society today where a man could say, I'm a woman today, and that's the way it is, or you're violating my civil rights, which civil rights has nothing to do with that. You know what I mean?
Mr. Joe Gibson, you heard the UFC.
What's that?
You ever heard of the UFC? The Ultimate Fighting Championship?
Yeah, the UFC fighters. Yeah, I've heard of it, yes.
Now, could you imagine, some woman who said, you know what, I'm a man. I want to fight the men. What do you think is going to happen? You think that what's going to happen, but then you look at the other way. A man say, no, I'm a woman. He's going to be undefeated when he fight the women.
That's you're absolutely correct. But you see, people don't see that common sense today. It's all about me. I have an ulterior motive, and if I want to call myself a man or a woman, then I should have the right to do so. And they twist and like the last caller was saying, Artaveda there was saying, the Constitution has been so twisted, and there's been so many amendments now, and it's not even what the founding document was really what was supposed to stand for. You don't have the right to you can call yourself whatever you want, but don't make me believe that you are that individual. So basically, like you said, in a UFC fight, why should a woman, if it's a man's sport or a woman's sport, and I want to participate in a woman's sport, I should not have that right to force my views on that woman's sport. That's my point.
That's exactly
or a woman shouldn't have that right to go fight in a man's ring, because obviously are there strong women out there? There's probably a lot of women out there that could kick my ass. But that's not the point. The point of it is that you're classing everyone into one individual category, and you can't do that. Because we're all individuals. We're all separate and different, but we should be treated equally, but doesn't mean we have to live equally because we are different. And that's the thing that most people don't understand.
Right. That's exactly right. And I tell you, me and Mandela both black men, but I tell you straight up, I'm a man. I ain't gonna be waking up tomorrow in the morning and say I'm a woman. But he gonna call into your show like he done before, say that he a woman, but you know what? If he wants to step in the ring with me, that's the time I beat a bitch ass. You know what I'm saying? Mandela Khan.
Okay, all right. I'm going to bring Mandela Khan on, but I've got one other caller that was waiting a little bit longer, and I see all the callers that pressed the number 1, and they can join in the conversation and bring on whatever's on their mind. I want to go to 978 first, then Mandela Khan, then 317. All right? I'm sorry for the wait, but I got to give everyone equal amount of time, please. Go ahead, 978.
Yeah, if you want to make the Constitution and all that type of stuff work, I think it's a great document and everything, but it needs to go back to what it was originally intended for, and that was white property-owning men, okay? And that's who it was written for. That's who it was written by. And it's not meant to be for women. This place ain't meant for women to vote or have rights.
Whoa. Okay, hang on. You're entitled to your opinion, sir, but the facts will prove you wrong. In the Federalist Papers, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington all disagreed with the fact that women could not vote and that blacks were enslaved during that time in 1776.
Then why was that the case? I mean, obviously, they made that. They didn't give them rights. They had the Jews had us whisper in the women's ear and become subversive. And, if you look at every Western country that gave women the right to vote within 5 to 10 years experienced a depression, an economic depression. Every single Western country that did it.
Well, can you name a couple of those
women will
Can you name a couple of those Western countries? Because I think the depression
every single one that gave women the right to vote, every single one, from Sweden to the United States,
women didn't have the right to vote. Well, actually, sir, you're wrong. During the Great Depression of the United States of America, which was caused by the Federal Reserve in 1929, women didn't have the right to vote then. So, can you explain that depression to me?
Didn't they get the right to vote in like the 20s?
No. Let me be a little more clear. Women did not have the right to vote in 1929, but we went into a Great Depression in the United States during the 1930s.
Right. But here's the thing: women will always vote for handouts. They'll vote for bigger government and all that type of stuff because that's it's all about me. They don't care about the greater good, and they never will. That's not their nature to care about that stuff. Men and women ain't the same. You got male nature, you got female nature, and they're different. So, anyways,
we are different. Well, they are different. Men and women are different, like the last caller just said, and we expounded on that, and you were listening, obviously. But I don't think women just want to talk about me. I think there's a lot of good women out there that are willing to do the right thing and want to stand.
And that's another thing. That women are capable of doing a lot of the things men can. Not everything, but most of them are capable of going and getting a job, doing this and that. But just because they can doesn't mean they should. The women's main purpose is to make babies. And what's amazing to me, this is something I was thinking about. How did they possibly brainwash women to think that to stop having kids? Because if you look at the white race, we have a negative birth rate. They have convinced women to stop doing their only job, and that is to make babies. It's pretty amazing kind of psychological stuff they've done.
Well, hang on. So, if a woman is to make a baby, hang on.
Black people is totally different, and that's why the babies aren't coming in alive and why you're having birth problems. It has nothing to do with voting rights and women's rights or anything like that. That has everything to do with genetics and DNA.
All right.
I didn't understand one word of that. But they're kind of separate issues, but at the same time, they're kind of tied together too. So,
All right.
they got women going in. They're putting women up for the draft, which that was another thing. The right to vote always came with the responsibility of being put up to be in the military draft. So it's like, okay, you get the right to vote, but also you understand you got the responsibility of you could be, offered up to be sacrificed for your country, right? Then when they gave women the right to vote, they didn't tie any responsibility to it. They just said, oh, here you go. Here you go, no responsibility. And that's the problem. Women never take responsibility for nothing.
Went to Iraq for the protection of the people in the United States of America and came back here, and I got more problems than a little bit. So please don't talk to me about what women can and cannot do and what we are, whatever you're trying to say about women. You let the women speak for the women and you speak for the men. Because
listening. You're not listening. You're emotional. You're not even listening. You just exposed yourself. You just said, I don't even know what you're saying. You don't understand what I'm saying.
I know exactly what I'm saying.
You're emotional. You think I'm saying bad things about women, but I'm not. I want the best for women. I want the best for everybody. And that's not what's happening for them right now.
Say that then. Let's proceed everything else you say.
That's not true. They need to be at home making babies for their husband.
Well, then make sure you get the people on the right track before you go bubbling and rolling on some information about a woman, and you ain't no woman. You got a woman on the phone, and I can speak for women because I am a woman. I'm not going to sit here and allow you with a third leg hang between your legs and tell me about a woman. I'm just saying. Period point blank. It has nothing to do with any
all right. We can't argue with you. We can't. Hang on. We can't argue with everybody, but let's bring Mandela Khan on and give him his time, and then the next caller after that will be area code 949. Okay. So let's just not talk over everybody. Make your point, and if you want to ask the other caller a question, just say I yield to you. But we can't talk over each other. That's one thing for sure, and we all agree on that.
See, that woman, she's purely emotional, and she doesn't understand that I really have the best interest of everybody at heart. I really do. I want the best for everybody. But people think it, more welfare, more benefits, more white man tax dollar. That's going to fix all the problems, but it ain't. That actually, it does the exact opposite. You know what I mean? And women think they're going to be happy if they're strong, independent, go get a job, but they're not going to be happier that way. They'd be happier.
Well, no, I believe. Well, actually, I believe a man, if a man and a woman are together, I believe the man's responsibility is to take care of the woman, and the woman obviously has the hardest job, which is to take care of the home and the children, and that's the hardest job because a man can't. A man can't do it.
Like I said, take care of that man. That's what we do. We take on the brunt of the whole family, and we get the least respect of all.
If you look at hang on. Let's bring up for roles. It's the man that is responsible for child rearing. He's responsible for the child's education. The only job that a woman needs to do is
digging a hole that's so deep that you just ain't gonna be able to get back out of. You shouldn't even be able to see light at this point no more. You done dug your hole.
Everybody, hang on.
Well, I need you to understand.
Let's bring on some other callers here. Listen. Let's bring on some other callers here. Let's bring Mandela Khan. He's been waiting patiently. Let's see what he has to say. I'll give him a few minutes to talk, but please don't anybody yell at him or talk over him. Let him talk. Let him bring his viewpoint to the program, and then the next caller after that will be area code 949. And like I said, I think that, this is one of the problems in America or around the world, actually, is that, the man's responsibility, the men are not taking the responsibility to take care of their women, and that's why we have so many broken homes, and then we have women going out.
That's so crazy. That's crazy, dude. That is absolutely insane. The fact of the matter, that's the exact opposite. That's the exact opposite of reality.
Well, look, if a woman is independent and not together with a man, then she has a right to have the same. There's nothing wrong with a woman going out there and sustaining her own independence and doing what she can to do as a woman.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is, what we're doing in this country is we have a divorce rate of 57%. And that's a major problem because, like we were just talking about, you stand in an aisle in a grocery store, and the men who own the magazine are making men stare at a woman half naked on a front page of a paper, and then the men are out there cheating on their women, lusting after other women, which is wrong.
That's not reality. The reality
is
when no fault.
Reality is that we have a divorce rate in this country of 57%. So I'm going to tell you something right now. My grandparents were married for over 50 years. Why is that? What has happened to us? Because we have been destroyed from within.
I'll tell you why. You want to know why no-fault divorces have been civilized, which no-fault divorce really means it's all the man's fault, and the man will have to pay with everything he's ever worked for or owned. He'll lose it all. because they incentivize women, they incentivize them to divorce. They give them all the man's money, and they take away your kids, and then he has to pay a stipend for each kid on a weekly or monthly basis. So when they incentivize divorce for women, it's going to go through the roof. Now, it used to be back in your grandparents' day, it used to be if a woman got divorced, she would lose her kids. The kids would go with the father as they should, because single mother households are the worst thing that ever happened to the Western world. And they would be shunned for divorcing their husband. And guess what? When a woman would have to face consequences for a divorce rate was next to nothing. And
it wasn't just the woman that faced consequences. It was also the man. But let's bring Mendelicon on. I've been promising to bring him on because I want to give everyone equal amount of time here. So please, and anyone can interject. Just don't talk over each other. That's all I'm just saying. Don't yell at each other, because then nobody can hear anything, and then we're just wasting time, and we can't get back that time. We can never get back time. There's one thing you can never get back in this world, and that's time. So let's bring on Mendelicon. All right, go ahead, Mendelicon.
I would like to have a little order in the people's courtroom, and in that order, I hope to bring it. And I've changed my format over here in the Sign of the Times, and we live in the day to try to stick directly and precisely to my assignment, which is the total recall of the matriarch. And I'd like to say to one of your monsters that I am 98% woman, and the only 2% that's man on me is my two heads, and I won't elaborate on that.
But what makes you think you're so smart, but you ain't?
All right. Well, hang on. All right, just let him speak. Give him a few minutes, because I gave everyone equal amount of time. He's got some background noise, though, Mendelicon. You got some background noise there.
No, I don't. Nobody's here. That's your monster that's interfering with my affairs. So don't try to shift the weight over here. Ain't nobody here but me, and it's quiet as a mouse. I can hear the mouse and the roaches running in my house.
Well, let's see.
Okay.
All right. Well, all I know is all I'm saying as the host of the program, when I connected you, I started hearing some background noise. So that's all I was saying. But go ahead.
Okay. Let me begin. The people are the government, and the government is not, I repeat, is not the people. You said some interesting things that I could pick apart to show the difference to why everything is upside down under the Masonic order of the patriarch. And that is the brute strength of men. And then you made a comment about there's morphidites doing this and such. That's not true. It's transgender.
Well, that's what my grandmother used to call them. That's all I was saying. That's what she used to call them, morphidites. That's all I was saying. Okay.
Well,
whatever you want to call them, half man, half woman.
No.
It's up to you. No.
But
go ahead, Mendelicon. I'm sorry.
There's a difference, and I want to give crystal clear clarity. Morphidites, and there are many of them in our sector all over this country, and you very rarely had a relationship or interaction with a morphidite. Morphidites produce all black men and white men, because there was a time in the beginning that there was no man on the planet Earth. You don't believe me? It don't matter. I can prove what I'm saying, and I got a right to talk this way. Fast forward to what you were talking about as this thing is really transgender. And on Mother Earth, it was never intended for the man to use his brute force, his power, to take control of the commodities and Mother Earth. It was never intended. That's why the world is turned upside down. Thus, so you have in sports, football, basketball, baseball, no one would think in their consciousness to have a woman in the World Series because she don't have that power. No one would think to have a woman on the NBA floor with the National Basketball Association because she don't have that strength and endurance. Wouldn't think to have in the National Football League a woman playing that. But now here we have in this Olympic Games of Greek and Roman ideology in transgender, now you have men who are participating in physical endurance of sport and they are men. They are not morphodipes. They are men. There's a difference. Then you have this guy, Bruce Jenner, who won an Olympic. He was on the box of Cheerios, Wheaties, as an Olympic decathlon specialist. And now because of his boss madam, Kris Kardashian, who has her little prostitutes riding the wave of popularity and fame, and then her husband, Bruce Jenner, saw that he was not relevant in his own household, so he had to transform himself to something else, and he eventually, in the face of all women, from Akshata Veda to Angelina Jolie to Miss Morales or Miss Tchaikovsky, this guy won Woman of the Year. Now, that was the most appalling, offensive, and reprehensible thing. If women really wanted to band together and really wanted to do the right thing, they would have challenged the corporation saying, hold. This guy is a man. But the women sat on their asses and called each other snitches, witches, and bitches, and at each other's throats, and allowed for a man to be given the honor of Woman of the Year. What the hell am I saying? I'm saying that men only took control of Mother Earth because of brute force and strength, not because of intelligence or wisdom and knowledge. And that's clear today. And you speak of Venezuela, do you know that Russia and China is waiting for some of that old Spike Lee, that Stagger Lee stuff that America want to try to pull? You know that? Now, I know that many of you don't know that. You're speaking of Venezuela like it's some little torn dictator. But the problem is that this land is led by a band of tyrants, black tyrants and white tyrants. This land has to be overturned, destroyed, and the ideology, not the land itself, physically bombing and bullying and killing and lying and stealing. No. It has to be the people who are remembering what they forgot, and that's what my network is here to do. And even if you want to completely ignore it, I still have to bring this truth to you that the matriarch, with the children, the old folks, and the good men who will stand with them, we can overturn this thing without firing a shot. Because if you think you're going to shoot and bomb your way out of this one, you are living in history. The only good thing about the good old days, the last second or the last history month or the last 1,000 years, is that it's dead and gone. There will be no reparations or no 40 acres and a mule. There can only be freedom and justice and total independence for everybody to be true. Now, I know y'all don't want to get around and riddle.
Mandela Khan, I gave you equal amount of time here. We got a lot of callers on the line.
Hold on, give me 30 more seconds. Let me wind this down.
30 more seconds. I'll give you 1 more minute. Go ahead.
The 30 more seconds or the 1 more minute is this.
All these transgenders when you say he a transgender.
Everybody is wrong. You understand me? Even I'm wrong. And there's no one that is right.
Give him 1 minute because we got other callers on the line. Give him his minute, please. Please, everybody.
Will you sit your chihuahua down? Sit your chihuahua down, please, because I don't know this rascal. And evidently he idolizes me for keep mentioning my name, and he's no irrelevant. You know how many people right now want to look at where we are. I'm wrong, and you wrong, Joe Gibson, because here's what I know. When it came to the Constitution, in March 2019, there's not a black or white person who gives a damn about anybody's Constitution outside this country, because if you did, you would honor your own. In your own Constitution, you wouldn't allow for any nation to come inside your nation to bomb, pillage, and plunder, put a FBI, a CIA in there, and do all this stuff that y'all are doing. But yet you keep bringing up this Constitution like it's some scripture, like it's some repentance, or we can get some beneficence out of it. It has to be destroyed because anybody in America, and even Akshata Veda can tell you, look, she didn't know why she went outside the country doing the stuff she was doing. She was just getting her $10,000 for college in the GI Bill.
Okay, Mandela Khan, all right, I gave you a minute.
You don't honor nobody else's Constitution. Throw it in the trash like the Bible throw in the Quran.
All right, Mandela Khan, I gave you a minute. I'll keep you on the line as long as we can all act civil here. All right, I did promise 949 next, and then we got a bunch of other callers. I want to give everyone equal amount of time. Go ahead, 949. Go ahead.
Oh, hello?
Yep, you're live. Go ahead.
Hi, Gibson. This is Melvin Gibson. I'm a retired avocado farmer from Alaska, and this is getting very emotional. So let's try to remove the emotion. Hello?
Yeah, you're still there. Go ahead. Use your time wisely. Go ahead, sir, because I got a bunch of callers on the line. I don't like to kick anybody off my platform here, but go ahead, make your point, sir. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, I'm quite triggered, and I want to say a couple things. I just don't trust anything that bleeds for 5 days and doesn't die, and I think that con Diego Garcia from Vegas needs to get back in the kitchen. And the previous caller, Mandingo, was correct. If there's a patriarchy, why do we call our land Mother Earth?
All right. We'll let Mandela Khan answer that question. Go ahead. Why do you call it Mother Earth? Real quick, Mandela Khan, I can't because I got a bunch of people on the phone line. Go ahead. Why do you call it Mother Earth?
Mother Earth, Mother Nature, Mother knows best. Ladies first. That's a real honorable arrangement, and I'll get back and let that caller go ahead and finish his point.
Well,
go ahead, sir.
I think you're forgetting about the other 77 genders. I mean, how come one of them isn't first?
Well, what do you mean? Actually, today there's 102 genders. Actually, sir, I looked it up. There's 102 genders according to the world today, but there's only 2 genders, and that's man and woman. I mean, if you disagree with me, that's fine, but there's only man and woman. I mean, what do you mean 77 genders? I mean, what do you mean by that? Can you expound on that real quick? What do you mean by 77 genders?
I disagree with when you called me sir. That's not my personal pronoun. I'm
okay. Are you offended
myself.
by that? I mean, I didn't violate your civil rights by doing that, I hope. So, what do you want me to call you then? You want me to call you tree, dog, moon? What do you want me to call you? I didn't know. You sounded like a sir, so I apologize. Are you a ma'am? Because I only recognize men and women. So that's my right. But what are you? What do you consider yourself?
Well, I self-identify as a Z.
Okay, so you identify yourself. Well, you can identify yourself as anything you want to under the Constitution of the Republic, okay? But the fact of the matter is, you don't have to make me identify yourself as Zeke or whatever you are. That's the guarantee under the Constitution, okay? I don't have to be forced to identify you as anything other than a man or a woman under the Constitution and the Republic. You know, you understand what I'm saying now? Because there's only 2 genders, and if you don't like this country, and if you don't like the Constitution, there are airplanes that fly out of this country every single day, and I could set up a GoFundMe page for you, and you could go fly to Egypt, and you can call yourself a tree, a dog, a cat, and they'll throw you off the top of a building and chop your head off, and see if you won't regret not living in America anymore. Do you have a comment on that, sir?
I'm not a sir, but I'm all for fairness and social justice. So I agree with you.
Well, I'm just letting this caller have his time. That's all. He identifies himself as a certain gender, and out of 77 genders, where are you? 74 or 72? Do you know?
First of all, there's no ordered list of genders.
Well, you said 77, so obviously it must have started someplace. There's a beginning and there's an end. We can get into that. There's a beginning and there's an end. Where did you start from? I mean, or like you said, when did your gender come into the platform here?
Well, I don't think this is a platform. I don't think this is a platform. When I was a small business owner in Alaska, avocado farmer, and I believe in fairness and equality. Do you know how many females I had interviewed to be avocado farmers?
I'm not sure, and actually, I don't. You're asking me a question that I'm ignorant on. You could have interviewed 10 million people. I don't know. What does that have to? I mean, like I said, I opened up the phone lines. You could talk about whatever you want to talk about, but Why would you ask me a question that I have no knowledge whatsoever? How could I know how many people you've interviewed?
Well, the answer is 0. I mean, I desperately wanted to
Okay,
have some.
All right, then it's irrelevant. Then it's an irrelevancy because if I, what stupid is what stupid does, But you can identify yourself however you want to identify yourself, but don't tell me or anyone else in America that I should identify you how you should identify yourself. That's the point, and basically a lot of the points that I brought forward here. And I don't need to respect you. Let me rephrase that. I respect you identifying yourself as Zeke or a tree or a cat or a phone or whatever you want to identify yourself. But the fact of the matter is there is a man or a woman.
Okay, so like a hole with a dick and fuck the balls.
All right. I want to get to some more callers here. I gave the gentleman the time.
Thank you.
I gave the gentleman the time. Hang on real quick. I got a bunch of callers on the line. Trust me, everyone will get some closing thoughts. I'll give everyone 3 minutes. I'm watching the time here to the program. I'll give everyone a chance, but I got other callers on the phone line here. 317, and then but first I got a private caller that's been waiting a little bit longer than you. And I got to be fair here. Do I have to be fair? I mean, am I an empire too? Should I just rule over everybody? No. The minority rules. I'm a republic. I believe in the republic. I believe that the minority has the voice on this program. So, private caller, go ahead, private caller.
Well,
okay, private caller.
Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Go ahead, Mike. Mike, one of the original supporters of the program. Go ahead, Mike. Take a couple minutes to speak. Go ahead.
I just wanted to report some bad news. My wife had an accident, and
your wife Melody. What do you mean your wife Melody had an accident? What happened?
She had an accident and rushed her to the emergency room, and she's okay. I mean, but she broke her arm in many places.
Oh Lord.
And
oh my Lord.
Yeah. And anyway,
and for any of you out there that are listening here tonight, Mike is a retired dairy farmer. He's actually a family member of mine. He's one of the original people that supported this program from the get-go many years ago when I started this program. And I actually lived on Mike's dairy farm in the summers when I was a kid, a teenager, a dairy farm. And Melody was his wife, a hard-working woman, a strong woman, actually, that actually ran the show. So, how's she doing, Mike?
Well, you know, Mel, she doesn't take pain very well. But other than being broken in many places, let's just hope it ends up well, So I just wanted to.
Mike,
know.
Maybe after the show tonight, we need to talk privately about that because I'm concerned now. And is she still in the hospital right now, or is she home?
Nope, still at her loose, and she's home. So.
Well, we hope your wife heals. We hope Melody heals, Mike. And look at that. His wife, I mean, Mike, like I said, Mike's not in good health himself. Still listens to the program, supports it, and at least I could say that about a lot of people that have supported this program. And I thank everyone that listens and supports the program for me giving them an open platform. But Mike is a retired dairy farmer from the state of Wisconsin. Lost his farm in the 1980s. I was there when they auctioned off all the equipment, every last cow, every last chicken, every last shovel, every last pitchfork. I was there. I watched it when I was 13 years old. I was there. It was in Kenton, Wisconsin. Kenton, Wisconsin. You could look it up. Population was about 58, I think, of the town. And I watched it, and it was sad, because Mike was a working man. But this capitalism by imperialism shuts down the small, independent farmer out there. These bankers. I mean, a farmer, is mortgaged to the hilt. A tractor breaks down. It's $50,000 for another to buy another tractor so he can cut hay out in the field. And the farmers, and like out in Wisconsin, they call it the dairy state, provides 28% of the dairy products that you enjoy when you go to the grocery store. Just in the state of Wisconsin. And I'm happy to say that I helped provide that for all of you in the 1980s, because I remember when I was 13 years old, and Melody, your wife, actually was, telling me fill up the grain wheelbarrow, and I tried to pick it up, and, I was from Connecticut. I was a city kid. I didn't have the muscles of a farmer. I'm picking up that 100-pound wheelbarrow, wobbling around as a 13-year-old kid, and I remember that day. Yeah, and scooping out the grain, feeding the cows, and then feeding the silage to the cows, then feeding the hay to the cows while Melody was milking the cows, and sitting on the tractor with you as a kid, and you teaching me how to spread the manure in the field, and farmers. That's the problem. A lot of us today don't understand how to grow or work the land that we have, and a lot of us don't have the land. And I learned my work ethic. That's why when I'm bench pressing 350 pounds at Gold's Gym tomorrow morning, I think back to those days when I was on the farm. That's what inspires me. When I go out and I do work for someone, that's what inspires me, because of the values that I was taught by this gentleman on the telephone here tonight, who's listening to the show. And that's just what I'm trying to tell you, because people can see my picture on Facebook, they can see my picture on Blog Talk. Look, I'm about 20 pounds heavier actually, but I still go to the gym and I work out every single day. But that inspiration of hard work is what's important, and a lot of people don't understand that. They don't get that, Mike. So, Mike, maybe I'll call you after the show, but I've got other callers on the line here, and then I'll give, let's see, I want to get to a few here and then give some people some closing thoughts on tonight's program, especially Archiveda. Maybe I pronounced it wrong again. Sorry. It's just my It's my Connecticut accent. It's my Connecticut Yankee accent. That's all. Please don't take offense. But I'm going to go to 317. Then I got a private caller, and then I'll give everyone some closing thoughts. Yeah, I'll go down the line. Okay. 317. Go ahead. What do you want to talk about here tonight?
What is wrong with that? Okay, what is wrong? There was girls in the orphanage. You get 25.
Hello.
Okay.
What is that noise? Hello.
Okay. All right. I don't know. You're breaking up, sir. You're breaking up. You're not talking into your phone.
I'm talking into my phone. I'm sorry. Somebody's playing sound clips.
All right, no sound clips, please. No. We're not gonna play sound clips. I gotta mute you there, sir. Let's get to a private caller, and then we'll get closing thoughts, sir. If you want to speak, I don't want to play sound clips. I played that in the beginning of the show, and I play my sound clips because I'm the host of the show, just to open up the show. But if you want to talk, I'll get back to you. All right. Well, if you don't, that's fine. If you don't get, okay, that's fine. You can hang up. You're more than welcome to hang up and go away. All right, but let me get to a private caller. Go ahead, private caller. Go ahead.
Hi, Chief Honorable Brother Joe Gibson. I want to first pray for, is it Mindy? Mindy?
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everybody if they keep talking over everybody. We can't do that. I mean, after all, Angel Lady Love, hang on one second. Look, if you want me to bring these politicians onto this program, you can't do that, you know, because they're listening. I assure you they're listening. I know that for a fact. So I'm trying to give you, the people, a voice. So use that voice wisely. Go ahead, Angel Lady Love. Go ahead.
Please mute them because I know they're going to talk over me what I'm about to say. Now, is the wife's name Mindy?
Go ahead.
The brother Mike. The woman that had the accident, what's her name?
Melody. Her name is Melody.
Melody and Honorable Mike. Okay, I pray for her. Will you mute them, please? Because I have something important to say, and I'm tired of this every time I call you.
Yeah, I'm searching the numbers now. I've got about 55 numbers on the call screen.
Yeah.
Next time that person does that, I'll try to get them muted. Okay, go ahead, Angel Lady. Go ahead.
Yeah. But the bottom line is I pray for a miracle for both of them. When you said that they lost their farm in the 80s, that was right after the Biggie, when especially they designed it, when Purina had put in feed bags for cow, fertilizer that had ground up cow. That caused the mad cow. It has messed up our system of these farmers ever since and continues to. And the bottom line, so I pray for them because I know what it is to work on a farm. But, yes, these big companies came in and we're messed up with all the milk. And if you're saying she milked the cows manually, did she use electrical devices to milk the cows?
Nope. She milked them manually, trust me.
That's why they closed them down. Because, see, this is what's messing up all our food, all our children. But more emphatically, I don't want to offend anybody. However, I am Angel Lady Love, listener, inspirer, friend, emissary. I am a sky medicine, Wu-Ya-Wonkin, melanin-enriched woman of the four corners of the planet Earth. I heard you speaking of Mother Earth, and we have many call Grandfather Sky. Now, some may say Father Sky, and our Earth is flat vertically. I can give more details. These people coming through my ancient tunnels. But moreover, you have to use my what I call, my mother called it the soul food book, and I call it my handbook. And the bottom line, that Bible is telling us where we are right now. Revelation chapter 21, you look on NASA, I'm told about NASA's webpage, they've told you that there are several Earth-like planets, and I can give more details. Back where I'm going with this, many people are talking about reparations. Now, I hear people talking about I started the fact of reminding people about the matriarchs. And the bottom line is the melanin-rich people are the original of this planet Earth, whether you like it or not. It does start off with us millions of years ago in the first chapter of Genesis. I've given you this before. And our parents had a conjugal, connubial, of coitus copulation. There was no woman that made the man and all this crap. That's in chapter 2 of Genesis 6,000 years ago. And I have to tell you, no offense, in your little books, Caucasians are genetically engineered. Now, when you look at their chart, they start off with the apes, and I can give more details of when Adam was a female, put into a deep sleep, those beings which were cherubim, a third of them came down to earth with Lucifer, who is an archangel. They genetically engineered. Now, all you have to do is look at the chart and all the engineering and genetic engineering and cosmetic surgery and all the crap that's going on now. These beings do not die, and neither do we in John chapter 11, verse 25 and 26. But there is going to be a judgment. And the bottom line right now here is the Chinese and all these, what was called Mongoloids, when you study when you study archaeology and anthropology, there are only three races in and on this earth: Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid. The latter two have dysfunctions. Now, the Mongoloids, you can even go to Abraham and his wife Sarai. They were half brothers and sisters. And
so, Angel Lady Love, you got about 30 seconds. Angel Lady Love, I want to give you some more time, but you talked about the book of Genesis. Let me just ask
you. They don't even want their children.
Hang on.
They're killing them, having sex in Africa.
Okay, Angel Lady Love, okay, hang on.
Can I just say this really, for real, because I'm so sick of hearing misinformation. I am a scientist.
Yeah, but Angel Lady Love, I want to ask you a question about the book of Genesis.
I am a pecan activist, cognitive scientist.
All right.
Prophetess.
All right, so 30 seconds, Angel Lady Love. Go ahead. I wanted to ask you a question. I wanted to ask you a question about the book of Genesis, but you're not allowing me here.
I can give more details. I'm sick of the lies. And there are
okay, all right. The book of Genesis. I wanted to ask you. You mentioned the
They know about interdimensional. Right now, children should be listened to because I've been seeing it all my life. I've seen the shapeshifters. I've seen the ones with the and have even seen my
phone. 20 seconds, Angel Lady Love. Go ahead, wrap it up.
And University of Pennsylvania, they're using a three-dimensional copier.
Okay, Angel Lady Love, I'll give you a minute of closing thoughts here when I get to everybody's closing thoughts. But we just can't start yelling at each other here. We just can't do that on the program. I'll open up. But I wanted to ask her about. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is this: is close everybody out and then open you up one at a time. Okay, and give your closing thoughts because there's too much background noise, and I'm not going to be spoken over. How do you expect me to get these corporate leaders, these corporation people? I'm not going to mute that voice because I know that she's not doing that, and I know this person isn't, and I know this person isn't either. Okay, how do you expect me to get these corporate leaders on this program so we can have a civil discussion with each other when we're yelling at each other about 10 million different subjects? How do you expect me to do that? They're listening. I've invited mayors, councilmen onto this program. How can I give all of you a voice to question them and talk to them when you start yelling at them? They're not going to come onto this program, folks. They're not going to come. And I don't want that to happen. I want to expose these people, but I want to do it in a professional, intellectual way where we, and talk educated. If you're going to start yelling about this and this and that and this and that and this and that and not stick to a certain issue or topic, then all you're going to get is chaos, and you're doing what the New World Order wants. What you're doing is you're creating disorder, a lot of disorder, so they can create their New World Order. All right? And they love disorder. They want us hating each other. They want me to hate the black man. They want me to hate the white man. They want me to hate the gay man. They want me to hate the Spanish guy. They want me to hate the Chinese. They want me to hate the Jew. That's what they want. But you're not getting it. You're not getting it. Everyone's pointing fingers. You. They want men to hate women. They want women to hate men. That's what they want. And you're feeding into it. We just listened to it for the last hour on this radio program. You're feeding into it. And there's so many other issues to talk about. Mandatory vaccinations. Now they want to pass a law here in North Carolina. You can't talk on your cell phone when you're driving, or the cops have the right to pull you over and fine you $25. The government has no right to be involved in our individual liberties and rights that we are guaranteed, the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's what I was talking about with the Constitution. It's a perfect document. The problem is we lost that document. We lost it. Like Thomas Jefferson said, every generation needs a new revolution. Okay? The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Are you a patriot? I know you the definition of patriot, blah 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 blah. But we could all talk here. The definition of patriot and tyrant. Look, we are under a tyrannical corporation that is enslaving us all and dividing us. And we see it on this radio program. Callers attacking each other, fighting with each other, this and that, instead of allowing them to speak and then asking them a question. Did anyone ask any of the callers a simplistic question tonight? Instead, they yelled at each other, you don't know this, you're emotional, law, you're a woman, you don't deserve this, you're a man, you're a queer, you're not a morphodite. What's the definition of morphodite? Instead, we should be addressing the facts. The facts.
Okay, I will fuck you
what
up.
are the facts?
Okay? I want you to understand. I will fuck you up. Okay?
All right. Well, I appreciate your language. 251. I do. And I see you saying that. I appreciate your language. I asked in the beginning of the show that we would not use that language. But
Joe,
you go ahead.
That was not me.
No.
That was not me.
No, no, I'm sorry. It was a private caller. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you wouldn't use that language on this radio show. All right, listen. What I want to do is get, like I promised, everyone will get 3 minutes that were called in tonight to say what's on their mind and speak their piece. If you go over 3 minutes, I'm going to tell you you're over 3 minutes. And if you want to yell over me, blah, blah, I'll mute you. Because I got to keep order on the show. I have to. If we're going to fight with each other, we're not going to get anywhere. We can all agree on that.
Okay, big whoopee-doo.
Oh, yeah, big whoopee-doo. Yeah. Well, obviously you're spending your time listening to me, so thank you so much. I appreciate that. But anyway, let's go with Bitbanker. Go ahead, Bitbanker. Closing thoughts. Go ahead.
Am I on now?
Yeah, you've been on. You've been quiet and you've been listening.
Well,
so just go ahead. Give some closing thoughts here.
No. I pressed 1 before. That's why I asked. Well, I'm sorry to hear about Melody. I think Melody is a Capricorn too. I don't know. She probably can't take much pain, but like any Capricorn, she'll get through it. We don't know what happened. I didn't get that point. Yeah, here we go. Long-feathered Johnny. He's tapping the message. Capricorns are queers. You see, this is what the people do. The people just don't care anymore. We have these millenniums on here who don't know their backside from a hole in the ground. And they're supporting this Cortez woman and everything, who are going to bring you right to your knees. And you will be the hole in the ground. That's for sure. The other woman said the government has dominance. That's right. The government has dominance, and it's becoming absolute, just like the law with your cell phones. You talked about census. When they do the census, they have a GPS with them. They know your name. They know the exact location. They know how many people are living in your household, and they ask you the names of them and everything else, and they know the exact location. So I agree. It's time for this government to go. Mandela Khan, you were very reasonable this evening. Thank God, thank goodness. I don't know about your agenda or not, but it's time for this government to go. It really is, because they're nothing but fools. They're all on the same side, and they're not on our side. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Bitbanker, for your wise words. I appreciate that. Mandela Khan, go ahead, and then Archiveda. She was, what was very emotional tonight here on the program, and I'm concerned. I want to give her a voice. But Mandela Khan, I know you've been bashed a few times on this program, but I want to give you a few minutes. Go ahead. Closing thoughts, Mandela Khan. Go ahead.
You fucking asswipe.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to mute everybody. I'm going to have to mute everybody because I don't know where that one was coming from. And that's not right. That's not right at all. It really is not. And I know there's a bunch of other callers on the line, but if we continue with the nonsense, we're not going to get to you. So go ahead, Mandela Khan.
Joe, in order to have a rational continuation, and this is not a request, this is a demand, you need to only open the line that you want to speak to and close all others to keep a continuous flow. I don't care if you got 5 callers or 50. You know your boy. When it's that time for the person to speak, let them speak. And then close that line until you're ready to open up all of them. But you can't have a continuous program when you allow for interlopers to stop someone else's input, because everybody is wrong. Everybody on the planet is wrong, particularly the eagle. This thing has got so terrible that if you pick up a quarter, even the eagle is squawking and screaming that there is no such thing as honoring a constitution. And it's these religious fanatics.
Mandela, I love you.
Listen, and it's like I said, if you look across the world, there's 205 nations, and the Creator is with them, just like you religious fanatics under the Hebrew Israelites, Moors, Muslims, and Christians under the Bible, Torah, and Quran. You're only thinking micro because of your selfish class interests of the United States of America, the eagle. But if you look at it today, it is that same eagle that will go across the globe violating half of the other nations' constitutional right to sovereignty, integrity, dignity, and independence. And Big Banger, I appreciate your solidarity on that issue by saying that we have a right and a duty to overturn, not overthrow. You'll never be able to physically, well, we're going to arm just to overthrow the government. We're going to arm just to show the government that you're never going to do that. That's revolutionary suicide. And I am authorizing the bloodless revolution of the matriarch because it's the sign of the times in which we live in today. So I'm not going to say anything that will hurt you unless you step on my toes, and then you will get the African ass whipping. But I try to stay away from that as much as possible. That's why I get the interlopers trying to interfere with my affairs. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. There are people on here who, from my wing, that don't want me to say what I say. But it don't matter. I'm not doing a popularity contest. This is based on necessity alone. If you look at what you say is God, country, and your guns, you're representing 5% of the people of the planet Earth. And if you're so-called black, you're representing 0.1% of blackness. So if you look at yourself being an Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, do you see yourself, because of your $10,000 for college or your GI Bill, going outside of the borders of Maine to Florida, Washington State to California, attacking other men, women, and children with stealth bombers, Black Hawk helicopters, submarines, missiles, drones, and everything? Do you see how insane you, the people, are today? That's because of the lobbyists. And lobbyists come from the money people. We, the people, don't have a lobbyist. But if we put our little pennies and $100 bills together locally in the municipalities, the counties, the cities, and states where we live, we can overturn these tyrants because all politics is local, you see? And that's not just a slick statement. That means that we, the people who are divided, we have to put the black, brown, red, yellow, and white, old, young, gay state alike in a lobbying situation for the people's bloodless revolution. And finally, I'll say this, that the people's bloodless revolution is not all black, and it's not all men. And once we overturn this tyrannical system, then people can go where they need to go to live and let live in one love without racism, bias, or prejudice. I rest their case.
Well, thank you, Mandela Khan. I appreciate that. And you know what? You talked about putting together the pennies and the $100 bills and stuff like that for the people. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I want to make this announcement right now. I am actually considering, running for a corporate office to restore the republic for the people, by the people. And I'll use this radio show as a platform. I'm considering that maybe as why not governor of North Carolina or a congressman, and restore and get rid of this corporation. And I've been in contact with the Restore America plan and Restore the Republic plan people also. And this radio show is very popular. If you follow me on social media, you know I have tens of thousands of followers, 5,000 friends, Twitter, thousands of followers. Let's get rid of these criminal corporation people. And you know what? If I was to run for governor and win as governor of the state of North Carolina, I wouldn't live in a governor's mansion. I'd say tear it down, rip it down. What right do I have to live in a mansion with servants serving and cleaning my rooms, cleaning my toilets, while the people out there who I'm supposed to be representing are suffering and starving in my state? And we have to start at a local level first. That's what I would say. That would be my platform. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and just like Ocasio-Cortez, Bit Banker, brought up, she's a woman, yes, and she's a socialist, yes, but guess what? She just moved into a luxury house, apartment, that if you and I were to move into, we'd be paying $28,000 a month in rent. Could you afford that? No, you could not. So why? Is she representing the people? No, she is not. And neither is Kamala Harris, neither is all these other criminals in the corporation. It's a big club and you're not in it. Well, guess what? I want to make you in the big club. I want you in the big club. You, the people. But I have, like I said, I don't know if I'll do that or not, because you know what will happen. Fox News, CNN will latch on to my name, and everyone knows I have a very dark past. If you read my book, Behind the Walls by Joel Hodnett, you know I worked for the criminals in the state of Connecticut, and they tried to kill me twice because I knew too much information that could get them all arrested and put in jail. But Mendelcon brought up a good point. But if we put our pennies and our $100 bills together, guess what? We could start here. We could start on this radio show, and we could start listening to the people. The people out there like you. And I promise you that you are the most important out there. Without you, there is no show. Without you, I'd be talking into an empty phone right now or headset. Without you. So that's why I appreciate you and I give you all a voice. And that's why I started out tonight by talking about the mayor of Imperial Beach, that when I called his office, yeah, he'll come on to your radio program until he found out I wasn't a part of a corporation. Yeah, sorry, the mayor's busy. The mayor's busy. Well, what are you talking about? I got people out in California that want to hear what he has to say. Oh, well, he's busy. He has other commitments. No, his commitment is to we, the people, who demand answers, who want a total recall of what's happening here. And this corporation and everything that it stands for under the Constitution that we were supposed to be founded on, we have the right to abolish it or alter it. And I think we should alter it before we abolish it. We need to alter it. We really do. And we start here on Blog Talk Radio, understanding the times in which we live in today. So, Archiveda, go ahead, closing thoughts. I think I still got you unmuted. I know you had a lot to say, so go ahead. I want to give you some time. Go ahead.
I'm here. It's been a wild show tonight, and I have been a little bit on the emotional side due to my own situation, but that's okay. I'm human, and let's just not try to take that away from me. But we are international people. You know, we are based on our empires, and our empires are our family estate, which we don't even talk about because we don't know anything about that. Immigrants, who are the real immigrants? Talking about keeping immigrants out of here, but it's the immigrants that came into this country and waged war on the people of origin that's putting policies and in all the legislative positions that are writing the regulations and rules that restrict people from the basic necessities of life. And you're absolutely right. These politicians, they get into these positions and they forget all about the people because they're blinded by what? Money. And status. And that becomes more important to the individual person rather than what's best for the people. Because, see, once people in their individual situations are comfortable, you don't have a reason to think about the discomfort of those around you because you take yourself away from it and you put a blindfold over yourself and you just walk through life and live like everything is fine and beautiful and perfect, and you don't have to speak for what you're doing, which is hurting the people. If we were to support people such as Severe Bay in the movies that he's making for the people, which leads to a lot of truths that we don't hear about on the daily news. If we were to support things like this, movements like this, calendars and different movements that are already going on, we're not coming on here talking about anything new. These things have been going on. The thing is that the revolution won't be televised, and we already see that, don't we? So if we were to support ourselves, the people, for the people, by the people. You remember FUBU, for us, by us? We talked about that brand, and we made fun of that brand because it wasn't Nike, because it wasn't Reebok, because it wasn't Adidas, because it wasn't Jordan. But it was for us, by us, and we didn't even respect us enough to support us. So this is the problem that we've been in, and this is the problem where we still are. Until we come together as a people and we see that the need is much bigger than our own individual needs, that if we just look to our own children within our own home, start there. What do they need? You know what I'm saying? What do you see that's best for them? Build that empire and allow people to build with you as long as they're building in their own empire first. Number one, build your own empire. Then you link up with other empires and you become a conglomerate. That's exactly what's happened right before us. And if we don't practice the same measures that were taken to get us in these situations, we're not going to get out of the situations. We were written into the situations. We must write ourselves out. We were read into the situations. We need to read ourselves out. So this is what it all comes down to. It's individual work and individuals working together collectively as a whole to get to the means of freedom, justice, and total independence. And so, yes, we must build empires. We must get back to the republic, the people. We are the people. And just like Mandela Khan said, we are the people, and we are for the people, but the government is not the people. Well, the government is the people, but the people are not the government because we're not taking care of our own selves. However you said that, Mandela Khan, you know what I'm trying to say, right? So the point of the matter is we are the ones that affect all the change, yet we're not affecting any change at all because we're standing still and we're on the issue of domestic violence. A lot of women are in situations where they have no voice. Those women who are strong enough to speak for those women who don't have a voice, stand up and speak up. If you've been in a situation of violence, domestic or whatever type of violence it is, speak up about it. Stop being quiet. Because being quiet is not going to change anything. And so just like I'm telling women to stand up, I'm telling people to stand up and stop being quiet. We got to make some noise, and it's time to make noise. And that's all I have to say. I just thank y'all for listening to me and hearing me and allowing me on your program, Joe. Thank you. Much love, much respect. I'm out.
Joe.
Evidently, probably be back.
A break in his action. But everyone.
Yes. Hi.
Remember.
I wanted to talk to you about. Well, first of all, let me just say white power, and another thing was about the mayor. The mayor. I'm not quite sure what your problem is with this gentleman. He's been nothing but a fantastic person, and it's white power. And are you with me? Hello.
The hell with white power and black power.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
White power. Okay.
The problem is that the mayor never showed up to speak for the people. So
I know, and I was very upset.
I
was very upset, and white power. And it seems as if he's running away from the situation instead of
white
hitting
power
their
ain't
face.
gonna last, and you can keep on screaming it out all you want, but make your point.
No.
I'm listening.
Yes, ma'am. I'm having an intelligent conversation with you. I'm not yelling at you or anything, White Power. I'm just trying. What I'm trying to say.
And it sounds like you.
Look, let the Klansmen go. Let the Klansmen go, please.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm not interested.
So I was one. Yes, okay. So what I was saying is, it seems as if all the way back, all the way back.
Let the Klansmen go. Quit interfering with the Klansmen. Why are you doing that?
Listen to the gentleman, ma'am. Listen to the gentleman.
Let the Klansmen go. Leave the man alone.
Y'all have a nice night. Ashita Beta is off.
Okay, White Power. Thank you. Okay, White Power. Anyways, so it seems like this mayor hasn't even done anything, even during that sewage spill that took place in Tijuana, and I don't know why he didn't show up, White Power. And it seems to me as if you guys aren't really holding them accountable. And what do you have to say about that, good sir?
I have to say this about what you're putting forth. White power and worldwide white power is dying, but not yet dead. It will only die when the majority of good people stand forward. And then it will die. And the only way it will die is by establishing what must be, not fighting it like the way you want to burn crosses, go in churches and kill people and all that stuff. That's not going to get you nowhere. Your atomic bombs is not going to get you nowhere. Your stealth bombers, out of all the wars you're interested in and participated in, look at what you won. You won the most evil human relationship ever on the history of the planet Earth. This is why
we own Japan, though, don't we? Don't we own Japan now?
No, what you owe is to leave people alone. That's what you owe.
Everyone I got alone. It. I believe what you're saying is truth, and I agree with you. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to preach what I believe in, white power. And it seems as if, you're talking about the atom bomb. I mean, did we not save countless of Americans by dropping that atom bomb on Hiroshima, white power?
Hello?
Nobody here but us.
Is this Randy? Or who is this? This John?
Yes, hello. Hello. What power? I just wanted to continue my comment.
Hetapoo, I am Angel Lady Love, listener, inspirer, friend.
And you cannot come in and separate, take away, and divide the people. If you come in to separate, take away, and divide, you are evil. And if there's a such thing as a God that is not forced, if there's a such thing as a God is not.
The bottom line here is, can anyone hear me? Our Declaration of Independence is a ratified law. It says we have unalienable rights. That means no one can take them away. They can't be given away. They cannot be separated. That is the initial law predicated on the Algonquin Nation, which was many, if you will, nations that came together and helped these Caucasoids, and those are my tenets. It clearly says the consent of the governed. We, the people, are the government. Those degenerates can say otherwise all they want. Once our people, any of our employees, we use different parties. We've even had the equal rights parties in the 1800s. We had the fake parties. Those no longer exist. And democracy has nothing to do with the Democratic Party. And we do have a democracy. Republican Party has nothing to do with the fact that we are a republic. The Socialist, Communist, if you will, Green Party, Constitutional Party, Libertarian Party, If they don't have any candidates for whom to vote in the primary, none of those people, registered participants, can come to vote. And an independent can never vote in the primaries because they're not registered with any party. The primaries is the only time when the parties matter. Once our employees are hired, after the general election, there's no such thing as a midterm election, they're really supposed to become nonpartisan. That means they're not supposed to practice their party's agenda. Parties were originally formed just to make it possible that we can have this agenda. Now, you're all talking about raising some monies and pennies and we can do this we are the employer. Until you stop talking like they are your boss and this is a corporation, it isn't unless you want to make it such, and I say no. We, the people, are the government. I don't care what other degenerates are saying. These other employees are supposed to ask me, what do I want to need? When they have a question, they're supposed to iron out the legalese being presented to me in the general election, never in the primary. No one wants to do their homework. I keep begging you. You can call your senators and congressmen, but stay in office too long. All of them need a term limit. But we keep voting them in, or are we? The voting machines are all irregular. You pull the plug, everything can be lost. I know what I'm talking about. And this daylight savings time, why are we getting ready to go into that? Because of Bush. I wrote to him then, and then he makes the daylight savings time longer. It used to start in April, now it starts in March. It used to end in October, now it ends in November. I have my documents that I sent to him, and I even sent it to some of the television personalities. I can give more details. We the people have to take our rightful spot. As long as we keep arguing with ourselves, and in reference to reparations for the indigenous people, some reason or other you all don't get it. The ones on all these reservations, they definitely are mixed. Because those Caucasoids wanted to save their seed. That's why they try to give them some kind of reparations first after they kill all the buffalo out of Yellowstone Park.
I guess Jessica will take over the show now. But that was a bunch of insane rambling by mentally ill colored folks. Do they even make sense to themselves? It's just words falling out of their mouths. I don't know. None of it really made any sense, and they never made any points. Anyways, that's why, and that's the problem is we give these people have the right to vote just as much as the rest of us, and no wonder we're in the shape that we're in. All you gotta do is offer them free Gibbs me that. Give me some more of the white man's tax dollar, and of course they're gonna vote, to get more of that. But yeah. Anyways, I don't know what happened to everybody. I'm glad most of them are gone. The rambling, mentally ill are gone. But anyways. I don't know how much time is left in this show. Does anybody? It may be over for all I know. Be nice. It might be nice. Well, anybody else called in, and can they get unmuted? Well, Bonnie, baby, that's the whole thing. That's that you can't just drop that that's not just small talk there. There's a lot with that. And when you talk about that specific subject, people automatically dismiss it and think it's crazy. So it's better.
I'm sure that the phones will be open on Sunday as well as Thursday. Joe, I don't know where he went, but those who are on the line, bring your people in and get in where they fit in, because I get tired of hearing my voice in the same usual suspects every week. This is a people's government that we're establishing, and it's a heavy, heavy burden, and the more hands on it, lighten the load for everybody. So we all need each other now. Time is a terrible thing to waste. So when you hear from the Klan brothers and you hear from me, I know y'all not satisfied with that. I'm not. And I will not rest until I bring more voices to the pulpits, the podiums, the telephones, and the microphones, and eventually out of their seat, on their feet, and into the street. I rest the case of Class Action 567, the final judge, the exigency, that nothing can stop. It's time now. Anybody else have anything to say? That's a beautiful thing. I love quiet. I love pigeons. I love rats and roaches because they don't talk. That's a beautiful thing. Quiet.
Hey, Mandela-Con, can you still hear? Can you hear me right now, Mandela-Con?
Now we hear you, Joe. Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know what Blog Talk's doing to me. I don't know. We lost about 20 callers because of that. But, hey, that's what happens when you deal with Blog Talk Radio. But, Mandela-Con, thank you so much for the closing thoughts. I don't need to mute you. I think you'll be respectful. I got some other callers on the line here tonight. 978, and go ahead, 978. Go ahead. What's on your? Is this the same person I just connected to? I wanted to ask you some questions. My mic was muted by Blog Talk Radio, and I know you're a white power guy and everything. And I wanted to ask you about. I wanted to ask you about white power and the. No, I wanted to ask you a question, sir. I wanted to ask you about the Federal Reserve Act that the white man enacted in 1913 that destroyed this country and the republic that we live in.
That was more of a Jewish thing, pal. That was more of a Jewish thing.
No, it wasn't a Jewish thing. No, the Jews had nothing to do with it. J.P. Morgan was not a Jew.
There's nothing federal
J.P. Morgan was not a Jew. Sir, J.P. Morgan was not a Jew. Neither was Carnegie. Neither was Warburg. Okay? And neither is Nathan Rothschild. They were not Jews.
Are you serious?
Okay, sir.
Are you serious?
They were from Europe.
Jews.
They were from England. Okay, sir? So talk to me why.
They're all Jews.
No, they're not Jews.
They're
not Jews.
Yes, they
are.
are.
They're not. Prove it to me. Prove it. Prove it to me.
Are you serious when you said the Rothschilds are not Jewish? Are you kidding
me?
The
Rothschilds, sir. Why do you walk around with a dollar bill in your pocket with an Egyptian pyramid with an all-seeing eye on it? Tell me that, sir. Do you know what it says underneath that? Novus Ordo Seclorum. You know what that means in Greek? One world order, we crowned it a success. So the white man was in power in 1913. The white man was in power. Let me finish, sir. The white man was in power in 1913. So the white man made a big damn mistake by allowing the central bank to hijack his country. Did he not? Did he not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a huge mistake for allowing a foreign parasite like the Jews to take over the money supply. Yeah, because the
Jews did not take over the money supply, sir.
Yes, they
the
did.
Rothschilds are not Jewish. They are from the Rothschilds are not Jewish. J.P. Morgan's not Jewish.
People. And I want to know, why are you such an anti-white? Why are you so anti-white about it all? Why do you have
what do you mean?
Why do you
no,
have to degrade the white man? Are they not the scapegoat for everything these days? Why do you have to beat up on the white man? Don't they get enough?
Because the white man is the majority and they need to divide us. You're not understanding the New World Order, sir. We need the black people. We need everyone out there to unite together. What do you mean? What do we need? So what do you want to do, sir? You want to kill innocent black women and children? Is that what you're saying? What do you want to do?
We need to
do you want to eliminate them?
No,
separate us.
I don't want to
well,
hurt
that's
anybody.
Not gonna
I think
separate
we can peaceably,
how do we separate
separate. We can peaceably separate it. There's name a country where there's been a multiracial country that is successful. Name one throughout history where that happened.
Name me one country where one race dominates over another race where that is successful. Can you name me China?
Are you talking about the Jews?
Can you name me
Are you
China?
talking about the Jews?
Japan?
How they hold positions of influence on every aspect of public life in Western civilization? Is that what you're talking
you mean
about?
to tell me that tiny little country of Israel, 12 miles wide, controls the entire world? Wow. You know? All right, so you don't believe in Jesus Christ. You don't believe Jesus Christ was a Jew, do you?
What are you talking about? You know he was not
Jewish. I just asked you a question.
Satanic.
What do you mean? What am I talking about?
He was not.
I mean, you're
world.
an American. You believe in the American way, the white man's way, and in 1776,
why are you anti-white? That's what I want to know. Why are you so anti-white?
I'm not
anti-white,
sir. I'm anti-division. That's what I am. I'm anti-division. Okay? That's what I am.
We have a major problem. We have a major problem in America, and it's the problem of demographics, right? We used to be over 90. Whites used to be over 90% of America's population, and we've been whittled down to about 60%, maybe 65%. And we're about 8% of the world's population.
Wrong.
That's not wrong.
Actually. Yes, you are. Your numbers are wrong, sir.
How is that wrong? Okay, what is it then? Tell me what it is. You tell me what the figure is.
Well, to be honest with you, look around and you can see what the figure is. If just look around. If I go by the United States Census, if I go by the numbers.
I just gave you hard and fast numbers, and you want to give me anecdotal evidence. That's
lies.
And if you do look around, you'll find out that America's become a lot browner, right? And we're lowering our collective IQ because they want a bunch of low IQ people that they can rule over and lead by the nose. And that's what they want.
Then
you,
sir,
in Saudi Arabia,
should be ashamed of yourself. You, sir, should be ashamed of yourself for allowing that to happen, shouldn't you?
I didn't allow nothing to happen.
Oh, you did? What do you mean you didn't allow it to happen? You said your white power allowed it to happen, didn't it? The Ku Klux Klan failed, didn't it? Are you a Klansman?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you're talking about white power. Well, white power failed.
So are you admitting that whites have lost control of their country? We have lost. You're right. So you're admitting that whites have lost control of everything, and who's in control then? Who's in control? Because whites have lost control. This country's been hijacked, and Western civilization on a whole has been hijacked.
It was
for a long
hijacked
time.
when you brought your ass over from Europe, so you ain't never had control, and you'll never have control.
You're absolutely correct there, Mandela Khan. It was lost.
This low IQ guy talking about from. You wouldn't know what history was if it would friggin' bit you in the ass.
Well, explain it to me, sir. You got the floor. Explain to me true history. Explain it.
There's too many things at once, but there's a lot to it. You can't. There's history.
Well, explain to me the history of America.
History isn't the mainstream. What they teach you in public schools, I'll tell you that right now. And I agree with you there. I agree with you. Public schools are indoctrinating our children today. I agree with you there. Go ahead. Carry on. Yeah. So, that's all. And I don't know. I mean, the fact of the matter is, white people need to stay in control of their countries. And
what country?
And to do that, you have to kick out the Jewish parasites that are in every aspect of public life.
It damn sure won't be the United States of America, no matter what country
does it say white man should be in control of everything? Where in the Constitution? I mean, you believe in the founders,
Who wrote
obviously.
the Constitution? Who wrote all that stuff? It was white guys that
but
wrote it.
they didn't say white men. They didn't say that, but they did not say. They said all men.
Do you think
they
the non-whites
said, sir, they said all men are created equal. All men.
That's fine.
All
That's fine
men.
and dandy. That's fine and dandy. But the Mexicans, the blacks, the Arabs, they don't care about what white men did a couple hundred years ago. They don't care about our founding documents.
Yes, we do care about what you did. Yes, we do. That's why I'm here. We care a great deal.
You said that you want to throw it in the garbage just not that long ago. It means nothing to you. You just said that not even that long ago.
I didn't say that we didn't care. That's your word.
And it doesn't mean anything to non-whites because that's not their. That's not. Non-whites overwhelmingly vote against gun rights. They vote against freedom of speech. They vote for hate speech laws. They overwhelmingly vote against what white people hold dear. They overwhelmingly vote against white interests, and they, and that's what they do. So, just look at California. California used to be a big conservative state, but demographics, they lost the demographic battle, and now it's all blue. In Texas, within the next probably 5 to 10 years, that's going to be another state that always goes blue, and it's because of demographics.
So, sir, what do you suggest is the solution to this? What is the solution, do you think? What is the end game here?
Okay. The problem is what needs to happen is white folks need to make babies, and we need to become the supermajority of because this is our homeland. We
are the majority in this country. We are the supermajority.
We need to be like 95%. They need to. What we need to do is we need to take back the money supply.
But that's not what the Republic was founded on, sir.
We need to deport people that don't belong here, and we need to cut off welfare for people that didn't earn anything. That didn't earn it. It's very simple.
Now you're defeating white people. Do you know 35% of welfare goes to white people that you so-called support? Let me just ask this.
Yeah, but why do you think illegal aliens come over here?
Hold on.
They come over here for the free gibs.
Okay, I'll tell you what. You are an illegal alien European invader. Okay? Now, let me say this to you. Just a few years ago, not long, you were considered an illegal alien European invader. You ever seen a Western?
When was that? You said just a few years ago. Can you specify when I was an illegal immigrant? Please explain this to me. How was I an illegal immigrant, pal?
Just go watch some John Wayne movies. Okay, let me explain it to you.
Like that's the truth.
Let me go explain it to you.
That is absolutely
Let me explain it to you real quick.
Explain yourself when you make these outrageous,
let me explain it to you real quick. Let me explain your smart statement, genius, on how you're speaking out the east end of a horse's ass. Go watch a Western. And in any Western, the Indians said,
okay.
Listen, go watch the Western.
I mean,
I tell you what, if you don't try to overpower me, I'm gonna wipe you off. I'm gonna mop these goddamn cheeks with you, okay?
What are you talking about?
Let me say what I want to say, and you say what you want to say. Do you ever seen a Western? And I want everybody
who's listening. As a fact, non-whites shouldn't even be a part of this
discussion. Did you hear this beast talk? You won't let me enter in. You won't let me enter in because you know you got a weak power force, so you're not going to out-talk me. You're not going to out-talk me, so you go back to where you want to. And
all right, hang on, guys, hang on 1 second. Let me just ask this question to the caller. Look, we have obviously he's pro-white. Okay, that's fine. And there's a lot of pro-black out there. That's fine. But what's the end game?
You're not going to play good cop and bad cop. Fuck pro-white and fuck pro-black. Did you hear me? Now, I'm going to interject on this good cop, bad cop bullshit. All right?
Exactly.
Now, right now, today, in the United States of America, you have the most divided class, not race, class. 2% is the elite. 17% is the so-called shrinking middle class, and 80% is workers and poor peasants who the eagle is getting us squealing and squawking no matter what color we are. It's not about no damn race. It's about class. And under class action 5, 6, 7, we have a duty and a right to overturn whoever you put in the local, county, city, state, or municipal chair because they are all tyrants. Gave their allegiance to foreign governments and corporations. We need a big gang, and the gang is for, of, and by the people. And I can't say it any more clear. So I don't know what this Klan brother is saying, but I do know what he's saying. He's saying, hey, look, we desperate, and we got to keep control of this thing or else we're going to have to flee from here. And that's true. Yeah, everybody is going to have to go. Like grandmother told us, grandmother said, look, baby, y'all come over my house, and when you mess everything up, put it back where it belongs. And if you put it back where it belongs, then you can go home and live in peace again. But this is not our country. What the hell do you mean, our country?
You know, it's funny. Does anybody go to Japan? Does anybody go to India or China and say, you know what, this place is too Chinese. We need more Arabs and blacks and Africans and what, you know, why is it that whites can't have nothing of their own?
There you go. You won't respond to nothing I said. You're going to shift the paradigm once again and run.
We cannot have
just like
supermajorities in our own homelands. Why is that? Why is that okay?
You'll never be the majority in the Americas, nowhere on the planet. You'll only be the majority in Europe.
At one point, we were over 90% of the population, and you know what? It'll go back to that. And
I tell you what, that's according to your census. That's according to your census. Remember, it was you who made North, South, and Central America. However, even when you want to put a wall up in March 2019, if you look at who is the majority in the Americas, it is women and people of color. So you just counted into your 5%, the United States of America, like, we're the majority, we're the majority, we're the majority. But you know you're telling a lie. You're testing lie. You're trying to believe your own lies. But I'm going to tell you something. The gig is over, man. So
you're going to tell me you can look at pictures of 1920s, 1950s, and it wasn't all white people everywhere as far as the eye can see?
Where you lived in your municipality, your county, your district, your sector, did you know there are places on the planet Earth that ain't never seen a white? Listen,
all over the country.
Listen,
New York
if
City,
you believe in God, listen to me.
Over.
Okay, you're talking about micro. I'm talking about macro. Do you know that there's places on the planet Earth that ain't never seen a white person? The only people you're talking about is those where you came in and did your ethnic cleansing and did your gentrification and you purged the people out of there. You know how you poison and use germ biological chemical warfare to wipe the people out and establish your territory.
Are you talking about that ethnic cleansing, that genocide, the white flight? Is that the genocide you're talking about?
I'm talking about without me.
Is that what you're talking about?
Without me and my people, you would have never stopped the genocide and ethnic cleansing. Because guess what? The most vicious people against white people is other white people. And if it had not been for me and my people intervening on behalf of your wars that you started, stopping y'all and dividing y'all from doing what you were doing, you would have bombed every city in England, France, Germany, and Italy.
You probably, I bet he probably makes no distinction between white people and Jews. He probably thinks
I make no distinction against people who need water and sustenance and gas blood in their veins. See, you need to become like Helen Keller, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, and Jose Feliciano because of your racism, bias, and prejudice. And same for some of you blacks. You don't understand that people need sustenance to thrive, not survive. And when someone controls Mother Earth and the resources, and they're going to use war and the Big Bang Theory to control all the stuff, you don't see how upside down that conspiracy theory is, right? Because all you got is conspiracy theory. But a real conspiracy is when you can prove war crimes, crimes against humanity, crimes against women and children, and equal protection under the law is not even in your own jurisdiction. So don't try to take this country and say, well, we're going to make it white again. We're going to make America great again. We're going to make America great.
It's either going to be us or them. There's no coexisting. It will never happen. It can't happen. It's proven to be a failure time and again.
I agree with you. And evil is going to have to go where evil is tolerated. But in the Americas, evil is being purged out. I'm talking about North, South, and Central. You just looking at this little nation here and saying, well, we got to make this thing right here by forcing everybody to honor our contract or we're going to kill them. But see, you don't realize that you can't call yourself some divine, the beneficent, or repentant person coming from the Creator because do you think this great being, or we call God or Creator, do you think they need your carnal ass to fight and take control? If I'm God, I got the power of life and death for the world. What do I need you to fight for me for? What do I need you to create weapons of mass distraction and proliferate them all over the planet, and then act like, look, here comes the eagle, because I got to stop y'all from fighting and killing each other. What kind of mental illness is that?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of points you're trying to make.
I'm going to ask you one simple question. Do your God need you to fight for your God? Do your God? Because my Creator don't need me to have a knife or a gun. My weapon is my tongue, and I'm going to rat-tat-tat-tat on the ass of a just till victory when I wouldn't even pick up a goddamn weapon against another human being.
Yeah,
do your God require you to fight for your God? Because mine don't.
To defend yourself, yeah, absolutely. You're going to have to defend yourself, but to go out and attack somebody for no reason, no, that's ridiculous. No, God, the creator of all, does not call
you call defending yourself is taking what you want, and you're going to keep what you want.
When did I ever say that? When did I ever say that?
You didn't have to. You didn't have to, but the policies has been from the founding fathers.
You can just make up whatever you want and go with it.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't. The policies have been coming forth from the founding fathers. Look, when you came over here, you come to my house and you snatch my hat off my head and say, look, this is mine now. Okay? The only way I'm going to get my hat back is to put some policies together and force you to realize you made a terrible mistake. Fortunately for me, y'all thought it was war. But it's not war. It's live and let live in one love, because you're not going to kill your way out of this one. I'm not going to kill my way into freedom, justice, and independence, and you're not going to kill your way to keep the shit you stole from everybody else. And I know you don't understand that because you're slow. You're in the special IP.
Right. That is insane to think that.
Right. I agree.
Why don't you go to Arab countries? Why don't you go to African sub-Saharan countries and say, hey, give back the land that you acquired either by treaty or conquest.
I hardly
whatever.
listen to my father, and I never listen to God. So my first thing is
why does the white race only have to be held accountable for their expansionism? Why is it?
For me, first things first. I hardly listen to my father, and I never listen to God. So what I first got to do is put my house in order here.
I know why you don't do it. You do it because it's a payday. You holler racism because it's a payday.
Let him speak.
I'm not into no racism. That's you. I'm not into racism. That's you. I'm into class.
Let him speak. Mendelicon, let him speak. Let him speak, please.
The fact of the matter is the only reason why they holler racism and white man stole this and that is because they know they're going to make the white man feel guilty and they're going to get money out of it. There's a payday. I mean, look at all these fake hate crimes and everything that goes on. People do it for a reason. You know, and when you placate somebody that hollers racism, if you give them money and say, okay, we're sorry, we feel so bad, here's some white guilt money, take it and run off, right? What that's going to do, that's not going to stop people. That's going to encourage people to start hollering racism. So the next thing you know, you got 20 people hollering. And then you placate those 20 people. Now you got 1,000 people hollering racism. I mean, it will never end. You know, that's why other countries like Japan or China or Saudi Arabia, wherever, they wouldn't even entertain someone trying to call them racist or supremacist of any kind. They would think you're crazy. They're not going to do nothing for you. Why do whites feel that they have to bend over backwards for these perceived ills that never even really happened? So it's just crazy.
Oh, all right. Well, sir, to answer your question as the moderator of the show here, is because this country was founded as a republic, and like I've said already 10 times, all men are created equal. You know,
but that is not true. That's actually not true. And
so
equal
all
how?
men. So
what do you mean equal?
All men are created equal and endowed by their Creator to right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right. Correct.
So you don't think that
when
all
they say
men
equal, do you know what they mean by every man is equal? In that it means you are.
Yes, I do. Sir. I'm trying to. I'll answer that question, sir. Yes, they have the equal right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to suppress people over another is wrong. It's wrong.
Who's trying to do that?
Nobody. Excuse me?
The only people I see getting suppressed is white people. That's it. We're the only ones getting constantly
why
attacked.
Is that, sir? Why? Well, because sir, you're not looking at the big picture. There's a bigger picture, and I talked about this in the beginning of the show. For the love of money is the root of all evil. And I know Mandela Khan disagrees with me, but this foundation of this country was created on principles by the Bible and God. Now, whether or not you don't like the Bible or God, but we give everyone that right to choose what they believe in. Now, do I agree with you as far as that the white man out there is being harassed and trashed in the corporate media? Yes, I do. The white man is
everywhere.
weak. He should stand up
everywhere.
and fight for himself. I agree with you, but that's for a reason, sir. It's called division. They want us to kill each other. They want us to kill each other. You understand? Disorder, so they can create their world order.
White people aren't killing anybody. White people aren't killing anybody. As a matter of fact, the epidemic of black on white violence is out of control. The epidemic of black on white violence is out of
crime
control.
happens, and Archiveda brought it up also. White men
it's largely covered up.
Well, that's my point. It's covered up, and the fact of the matter is, look, sir, I agree with you on a lot of your points, but at the same time, suppressing one group of people for a personalized agenda is not what the founders of this republic wanted. Okay, we're not under
and I'm
republic
asking you,
anymore.
who do I want to suppress? I'm not trying to suppress anybody. As a matter of fact, I want everybody to be unsuppressed. And the fact of the matter is, the only people being suppressed are white folks.
You said separation. You said the people need to be separated. But what happens when people don't want to be separated? Should they be forced to be separated? Who chooses? Who makes that decision?
That's a good point. That's a good point, because check this out. When people have the choice of whether they want to be integrated or segregated, just look at churches. That's a freedom of association. There's black churches and white churches. That's not forced at all. People naturally decide to go with their own people, right? And when they forced integration, they had to do it at gunpoint.
What would happen? Hang on, sir. What would happen if a black woman wanted to go with a white man? Would you condemn that? Or a black man with a white woman? Would you condemn that?
If people should have the right of freedom of association. So, yeah, if they want to do that, that's fine. But if there's a group of people that want to remain homogenous in their neighborhood or in their community, they should have that right. And they say, hey, we're just going to keep it up.
Sir, you do have that right. You do, sir, you do have that right, actually.
No, you do not have that right.
Not according to the Federal Reserve Bank and the corporation media and the fake media. You're right. They're brainwashing people for division, to divide the people, to conquer the people, so they can move in and have a new world order. Sir, look, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to let everyone know this right now on the radio program. One of my best friends, okay, I'm going to make this announcement right now. One of the people I knew when I was 18 years old was actually a grand dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. He lived in the state of Connecticut. His name was William Dodge. Okay, you can look it up. It's on the internet. He was arrested, and he did 5 years in a federal prison for weapons possession. Okay? I knew him, and he explained a lot to me about the New World Order. But at the same time, he had a lot of hate in his heart towards other individuals. And you know what? I sat back and I analyzed, and I did a lot of research. And I understood that the system was just playing him. And it played him because you want to know what? I just told you. He ended up in a federal prison for weapons violations and getting weapons, and was set up by the Connecticut State Police and ATF in the state of Connecticut. Look his name up. His name is William Dodge. He was a grand dragon of the invisible empire of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. This guy I hung out with daily. He was one of my friends. He was one of the first people who explained to me about the New World Order. He was only half right, but the other half of what he was talking about was wrong, okay? And I educated myself as a young man throughout the years and understood that, you know, you have to look at the whole truth and nothing but the truth and look at the facts, okay? And going around hating people because they look different than you, or blaming one group of people.
Who's doing that? Are you saying that I'm doing that?
No, sir, you're not letting me finish. You're interrupting me. I'm not saying you're doing that. What I'm saying is that
the only hatred that I see nowadays is directed at white folks. I don't see it any other direction.
No, it's not directed at no. There's hatred against black folks too. Okay, we can see it in the criminal justice
examples
system.
of that? Can you explain examples of that?
Sir,
to me?
You're looking at an example right now. Okay, I did 9.5 years in a supermax prison in the state of Connecticut. Read my book, Behind the Walls by Joel Hodnett. Go to Amazon.com. You could type it up. Okay, I worked for the government undercover. I saw it firsthand. I worked undercover for the government, sir. Okay, so I am a living example. So I can give you true testimony. Okay, the criminal justice system does discriminate more against the blacks in society.
How so?
Now, whether or not they're committing more crimes than whites,
how so?
Blah blah
how
blah.
So? You can't
this
just
and
say
that.
that without
well, let me
explaining
tell you
how
something, sir. Wait, sir.
You can't
when
just say
you
stuff
make
without
$8,
explaining it.
Sir,
that doesn't make
I'm
it true.
explaining it to you.
Explain
when
how
you
so.
make
How are they treated differently?
All right, sir. When you make $8 an hour and you live in a housing project and that's how you were brought up, what are you to do? When some guy, and this gets back to the criminal corporation,
Whose
the
fault
bigger
is that?
picture.
Is that the white guy's fault for that
No,
guy's
it's not the white guy's
and
fault.
how he exists?
No, but it's the corporation's fault, sir. You're not letting me finish, sir. It's the corporation's fault because this criminal government is shipping the cocaine and heroin into this country. Okay, and who are the leaders of this criminal corporation? Okay, who are the bankers? The Rothschilds, the J.P. Morgans, the Warburgs, the Carnegies. Shall I go on about all the major stockholders of your central bank, sir?
Jews and more Jews. And Shabbos
no,
Goy
the
and
Jews. See, here we go.
Jews
Blaming
and
the
Shabbos
Jews.
Goy.
So again, this is my original question to you, sir. So therefore, you've been defeated by the Jew then. As a white man, you've been defeated by the Jew.
No.
Doesn't that make you angry?
No.
What do you want to do,
sir? They don't fight head on. They infiltrate.
Well, then how do you defeat the Jew, sir? Then how do you defeat the Jew?
They are parasites. That is their nature. Just like fish swim, birds fly, Jews are parasites.
So, sir, let's go out and let's kill every single Jewish person in this world.
Why would you jump to that?
Tell me what would change.
When I point out a fact, why would you jump to wanting to kill people when I point out a fact that Jews hold a overwhelming majority in public life, in every aspect of public life, media, politicians,
my question is to you: if you eliminate every single Jew on earth,
why do you jump to that? That's like you are a government agent. I believe you. I think you really are a government agent.
Government agent, yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, that's right. And the government tried to kill me twice, okay? And I survived both murder attempts, and anyone who wants to come by, I'll leave the porch light on for you, okay?
So if you point out Jewish crimes, point out Jewish crimes against humanity, does that mean that you want to kill all of them? I don't understand that. I don't understand that line of logic and that line of reasoning. Please explain how that works. If you point out somebody's crimes that they've committed, why does that automatically mean you want to kill that person? You're just pointing out
I didn't
facts,
say
right?
What I said. Okay, all right, sir. Then let's not kill anybody here tonight. That's a good idea, actually. How about we eliminate all Jews? They all go back to Israel. Now tell me, what's going to change? What's going to change in America, sir? Tell me.
Well, the fact of the matter is, Actually, all
No,
the
sir.
problems
No,
that we
it's not
face,
the fact of the matter. I'm asking you a question, a direct question. All Jews no longer have control over anything. What's going to change in America? Tell me.
Well, okay, I'll tell you. But the fact of the matter is, what needs to happen is people need to know the truth of the matter. People need to understand the truth. You're right. If we got rid of them, you make a good point. If we got rid of them, what would change? That's an excellent question, because people are still brainwashed into this anti-white ideology. And
but where's that? No. But the Jew is gone. The Jew is gone. The Jew that has been brainwashing everybody, all the white people, all the black people, all the Chinese people, the Jew is gone. They're all back in Israel. They're all back in their tiny little country of Israel.
Okay, well,
they no longer are in American
case.
politics. What's going to change in America? Tell me. Is crime going to go down? Are the drugs going to stop being shipped in from our government? What's going to change?
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, that would probably stop happening. You're right. That would.
You really?
Actually.
Sir, have you ever heard of Barry Seal? Barry Seal wasn't a Jew. He worked for the CIA. He shipped tons and tons of cocaine into this country.
Do you not
Gary Webb.
Do you not? You don't understand what subversion and
No, I
infiltration
understand a lot,
is,
sir. I understand a lot, and I understand your argument. Yes, I do. I just told you one of my good friends was the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, the Invisible Empire. J.W. Ferens was the Imperial Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan at that time. Okay, all right. I understand your viewpoint. I understand it. Oh, trust me, I do.
Why do you think I have the same viewpoint as that guy? You don't know me. Why do you think I think the same way that guy does? I don't know that guy.
I don't have to
Why
know you, sir. I'm
automatically
giving you a voice on a worldwide radio platform. Sir, I'm giving you a voice on a worldwide radio platform, and your argument has been just null and voided because I just asked you a direct question, and then you said, well, that'll be a good thing if there's no more Jews. Well, then what next? No more black people? Let's get rid of all the black people. Hey, and then what happens? Let's get rid of all the weak white people. What next? Let's kill each other, right? Because that's what will happen, right?
See, you are a mental patient. You are a mental patient. I just said all the problems could be solved peaceably, where nobody has to die or any of that stuff. All this stuff can be solved without anybody dying or killing each other or none of that stuff. And
that's what Mandela was saying. But that's what Mandela was saying. This could all be solved peacefully. But you argued with him. You told him no. He's a black man, and I don't want to hear what he has to say.
I didn't understand what the hell he was saying. He was rambling. He made no sense.
Because you weren't listening. I was listening. I stood quiet, sir.
Well, maybe you can understand the guy. I couldn't understand him. But the fact of the matter is, why can't we have our own stuff? Why are we the only race of people
why do you
that
deserve
are not
your
allowed
own stuff?
to live
What do you mean? What stuff do you want? Do you think you deserve? What stuff do you think you deserve? By what? Killing people and taking it from other people?
Why do Chinese people, Japanese people, Indian people, why do they all have the right to maintain supermajorities in their own homelands? But white people are not allowed
because they're
that.
a communist country, sir. Because they're not a republic.
What?
They don't allow their people to go freely. They're communists. They're socialists, and that's one of the main platforms of this show, sir.
Not Japan. Not India.
Japan. Not India. Oh, not India. Oh.
I mean, think about.
Have you ever been to India, sir?
This is exhausting. I just.
You're right. It's very exhausting to think.
It's funny.
You know what, sir?
It's funny. You think you know what I think because you know a guy that was a grand dragon of the KKK. How does that make sense? Explain that. How does that work?
How does what work? Ask me a direct question.
You said that you understand. You know what I think, because you knew a grand dragon of the KKK. How does that?
Because that's the way
work?
of thinking that he had. Because what you talked about, look, you can only make your thoughts known through what? Your voice, okay? And I give you a platform on a worldwide radio show right now, and you're making your thoughts on how you think through your voice and your tongue, okay? So I can only interpret what you're saying by examining what you're saying and understanding history. And I've studied history, okay? You're not talking to some stupid idiot who hasn't been through the system many times before, okay? Who hasn't met people with your way of thinking before. I told you I agree with you on a lot of your points, but you said, oh, okay, but then as soon as I disagree, you want to condemn me and kill me. Or tell me I'm wrong.
Where do you jump to this? Why do you always jump to killing people? I've never said any of that. That's always what you say.
Well.
I don't get that. You honestly, you sound like a government agent that wants people to say illegal stuff. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to do it because. That's not.
Well, I'm not a government agent, sir. Sir, I'm not a government agent. I told you who I am. My name is Joseph Gibson. You can look me up on Facebook. I don't hide behind social media like other fake trolls. I put myself out there on a worldwide platform on this radio show, and I give people a voice to talk about real issues. Okay. And I'm not. And a lot of my callers on the phone line here tonight talk to me personally in private. Okay, and they tell me private things, okay? And I don't care if they're black or white. I don't care if they're from China. Sir, like I said, if you want to know about me, you can go to Amazon, read half my book for free, because that's what Amazon does, okay? And you can know about my past and where I came from. But that's only half the truth. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to examine the facts, and my show is called Understanding the Times in Which We Live in Today. And I thank you for your participation in the show. I really do. And I'll invite you back again on Thursday and give you a voice. I promise. And I've given you a voice. Haven't I given you a voice? And after all, that's what the Republic is all about.
But you kind of put words in my mouth at the same time, too, that are not true. So that's not always a good thing.
Okay, all right, okay.
I've never called for. I don't want anything violent to happen to anybody ever. I would never be for that. That's not what I'm about.
That's a good thing, sir. Sir, that's a good thing. I don't call for violence either. But like I said, Thomas Jefferson said every revolution, every generation needs a new revolution, and the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of tyrants and patriots. That's what Thomas Jefferson said. And if you believe in the foundations of this republic,
listen.
Excuse me, but Mandela Khan, he wants to get in here. We got to wrap up the show. We're going to run out of time. We're going to cut me off in 8 minutes. So Mandela Khan, take a minute, please.
Let me give a crystal clear clarity to the only thing I agree with white power. The only thing I agree with the Klan is that I should have my own sovereign, independent territory to where him and his kind cannot influence whether I go east, west, north, or south. And in order for me to have my birthrights back, I have to be able to have that sovereignty, integrity, and dignity to where I can be able to go east, west, north, and south unhindered and unfettered. This is why I agree with this guy and this other guy who say white power. Okay, that's good. That's good. But what you have to know.
I never once said.
What you have to know. I'm not talking about you. Listen. Okay. Now let me say what I want to say. In order for us to have this where you can have your fence in your yard over there and I can have mine over here, you're going to have to sign a contract with you and your people that you won't interfere with my affairs with your bombs and missiles and bullets and your aircraft carriers and your drones and your guns. Once you did that, you messed up the whole thing because you know that there is no history of a African or what you call them, a Mexican, or coming with their weapons and bombs to interfere with your affairs. So what you have to learn is that you who talk about this white power, or you're a Klan and you want your own land, okay, you can have it. But you have to go back again and remember how you got where you are today.
I have a question for you. Do you think the United States government accurately represents and stands for the interests of white people?
The United States government, and under
like
which
federal
it stands,
government. Let's say federal government. Do you think it actively promotes white well-being and white people's rights? And do you think that's what they actively work for?
It promotes capitalism based on imperialism. It promotes the elite. It promotes divide and conquer.
Exactly.
To where the class of people who are the workers and poor peasants cannot get a fair shake. So it don't matter who's sitting in Congress. If they got locks on the hold on. It don't matter whether they got dreadlocks or locks with fat asses. They war criminal in the local, county, city, state, and federal municipal government.
Well,
if they have locks with fat asses, they got to go to jail.
I had a couple. Hang on, listen. I got two other callers that have been hanging on in overtime, so I'm going to give them 2 minutes apiece. Okay, real quick, and then we got to wrap up the program. But the next show will be on Thursday. But listen, we give everyone a voice on this platform. We do. And but go ahead, private caller. Go ahead. 2 minutes. Go ahead. Okay, private caller. Maybe private caller isn't there. Next private caller. Go ahead. Private caller. Go ahead.
Okay. I thank you for this opportunity. Did you have a show last Thursday?
Yes, I did. No, I think it might have been on Friday, actually. I'm not sure. I can't give you an honest answer on that.
Another day did I get through. The other variable is it saddens me.
It was on Wednesday, Joe.
Because of all
it was on
these
Wednesday. You're right. Thank you, Mandela. God, thank you for reminding. It's late at night. I've been smoking too much weed, I guess. Go ahead, my angel lady love. You get 2 minutes. Go ahead.
The bottom line here is that all of these degenerates have messed up our earth. They have, as you pointed out, and I pray for your family and Mike the farmer and his wife, because they were doing the way we were taught with animals, and now these large conglomerates have taken over, and it's messing up all the children. They're telling you that they now have a new kind of polio. No one is happy in and on this earth. We're supposed to be here to have life and have it more abundantly, John 10:10. Now, it saddens me that you all don't want to recognize the degeneracy that was put on this earth through the fallen ones, the cherubim. Third of them came with Lucifer himself. They're scientists just as I am. And now their time is up with their genetic engineering and all of these abominations. The earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. And the fact remains we better respect, because there's going to be a separation. And they won't say, which religion are you? They'll know every thought, word, action, deed, and intent. It's about life and have it more abundantly. Perfect love casts out fear. 1 John chapter 4, verse 17 and 18. The opposite of love is indifference. The opposite of life is hate. And somebody better wake up, because it's all about life and love. Thank you for listening.
All right, thanks, Angel Lady Love. Thank you, Mandela Khan. I know the other caller dropped. The private caller didn't want to answer, so I didn't take their call. But listen, we'll be on next Thursday, this Thursday coming up. And like I opened up with the show, we're trying to get local political leaders onto the program, and we'll continue to do that. Okay, we really will. And I want to thank everyone who listened tonight. And remember, the show's archived. You want to go back and listen to the conversation? Archiveta said she went back and listened in the archive. Go back and listen to the archive. You know what? Before they shut us down, this criminal corporation, we need to take advantage of this platform as much as possible. As much as possible. And even if we disagree, we need to agree on one thing. We all need to have a voice. And we need to make that voice archived forever on this information age network that we call the Internet, whether or not it's Spectrum, Time Warner, whatever they want to call it. We need to make our voices heard, and that's what understanding the times in which we live in today is all about. Thank you, Mandela Khan. I appreciate you. I always do. You know that. And thank you, everyone else. God bless. Take care.